stands for super. The Dragons teach us that if we want to climb high, we must do it against the wind.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day, the final day of the week here of the Overwatch League APAC edition. I'm Achilles, back with Avril, and we will be guiding you through the matches this evening. We've got two great series for you. Kicking things off, though, maybe the marquee matchup. We have our top two teams in APAC right now squaring off against one another. It's the Hangzhou Spark taking on the Seoul Dynasty.
You can see the records there down below as well. 7-2 versus 7-2, our first seed currently versus our second seed. As far as the standings goes, I mean, yeah, top of the table clash, like you said there, Achilles. Both teams have clinched their spot so far in the Midseason Madness tournament, plus 13 map differential both sides as well. So we couldn't be more even in terms of how our two teams have performed. But that being said, if you take a look at the point section, Seoul, because they did win the kickoff clash, have 2 extra points compared to Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah, and Hangzhou, suffering a loss somewhat recently. Going to be looking to bounce back from that. We're looking a little bit out of sorts. Ran it back in the end, but couldn't quite get the finisher. We'll see how they fare today against the kings of the region, the guys that have been on top now since the kickoff clash. Here's the starting 5, though. For the side of the Hangzhou Spark, Bernard has been widely seeing the majority of the play, and I actually don't know if we've seen Gushui thus far here in the Midseason Madness qualifiers. Haven't seen him yet. Some other teams have been looking to run Winston from time to time, but you need that mid-map flexibility that Bernard brings a little bit more so.
And because we're still in the double push week for APAC as well here, I mean, Bernard's hero pool, we're looking towards Sigma for those push maps. And that's kind of where the Sparks struggled in their previous matchup as well versus the Philadelphia Fusion, which you mentioned went to the full 5 maps, right? But it was those 2 push maps that it felt like really let down the Hangzhou Spark. And, if this one goes the distance, and I expect that if Spark make it very competitive, they should be able to take it to the distance. Those 2 push maps, again, will be where the difference is going to be made for a team like the Spark, which, couldn't quite get it versus the Fusion. Seoul Dynasty, really, this is our championship team so far, though, when we look at the other side of things. Defending champions from the kickoff clash. 5 starters here, including Fitz, so Stalker not going to be coming in just yet for our opening map. Fitz as, another player that also brings in the Sojin. But mostly there for the Widowmaker there as well. Probably not going to end up being played specifically for the Widowmaker on a map like New Queen Street. But, they've been just kind of casually changing between Fitz and Stalker, both putting up very decent results. And the Seoul Dynasty in general said so fantastic in their last showing. It was versus the Guangzhou Charge, but it was completely flawless.
Yeah, Choi Zae-won, he had Prophet's number. He had everybody's number, really, on that Colosseo. That first map, really just popping off of the Hanzo, was getting the best of Prophet, something that not many people are able to do, especially not in this season, where he has been very much reminding everybody why he's the GOAT, has been really putting up numbers and saying, I've never been a role star, please make me a role star, I want to win MVP as well. He's making a good run for it. So Choi Zae-won did have his number there at the very beginning, but like you said, they kind of fell to the wayside. Eichenwalde was a thing that happened. We won't talk any more about it. That is now in the past. It's time to focus up into this series here with the top 2 teams clashing. Here is the map set. New Queen Street going to be kicking things off, as you already mentioned. Then we'll move into Gibraltar, then go to Midtown, Oasis, and Colosseo. I could see all 5 of these maps playing if both teams kick things off completely fired up.
And there's, 2 good dive maps in there as well between Gibraltar and Oasis. So question mark will be on the Hangzhou Spark as we get through the series. Does Gushui see any playtime today, or is Bernard going to end up playing some of those dive heroes instead? He has brought out that Wrecking Ball on previous occasions. It's been reasonable. I wouldn't say it's the most amazing Wrecking Ball that we've ever seen. The Doomfist as well, something that Bernard has played. But Smurf, he's played everything across the board so far. I mean, you know, we gave Smurf Player the match in the previous series as well, deservedly so. He's been, I think, the top performing tank of any team so far in Overwatch 2 in the 2022 season.
Maybe I'm crazy and I'm having a brain fade right now. I don't know if you mentioned this, Avril. If you did, I'm so sorry. But I just realized that Architect is in right now and he's playing Ana.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even see that. Like, really? We didn't
I
have
just looked at my screen. I was scanning across the top like, yeah, what are the comps going to be? That's Architect. That's him.
Wow.
Okay, we have an Architect spotting, ladies and gentlemen. Our bad for not catching that sooner. We're just so used to not seeing him that we weren't ready for this.
Well,
okay.
I mean, I even joked in the preseason that, you know, Architect, he could actually flex over towards the Ana as well. We know that he does play a bit of flex support, hasn't been playing the DPS role because, well, Shy and Alpha have just been so astoundingly good. Speaking of which, Shy opened up the first blood.
That he is. Nice headshot there on the Prophet, shutting down the Tracer. Fits as well. Went for the Sombra. Is building up for that EMP rather quickly. Smurf going to be finding another kill here in response. So as Shy goes down, looks for the punch, can't quite find Alpha. He dashes out just in time. Pulse Bomb now just 22% away. Dive into the back line. Smurf helping to find the elimination there on Irony. Nice follow-up shot from Creative. Now helping to keep everybody topped up as well as getting the kills. But Smurf seemingly going a little bit too deep. Alpha does manage to find that elimination. Bot for now not going to be contested by pretty much anybody. Prophet will move his way over there and start shoving this forward.
Also, take a look over toward the other side of things. Fitz nearly onto the EMP, and that's the other hero that he's kind of known for, right? Not a particularly strong pick in this particular meta. We saw Lip bring up the Sombra yesterday on King's Row. Not really that great. I mean, if Lip can't get it done on Sombra, then who can? Maybe Fitz. See if he can get it done, because Smurf has first blood of this fight onto Bernard. Sultanis, he might get some good distance here without having to spend too much.
Good pickups coming through so far. Once more, the bot is going to be sat in a bit of a neutral position, getting ushered back across. Fitz, however, going to get picked off early by Shy. Nice good kill to find. Follows a second there. His Smurf is going to be taken down as well. Cannot keep the Doom alive, and now the bot going to start moving into Dynasty's territory as Shy just continues to open things up. Where he was looking a little wobbly at the beginning of the last series, he is absolutely on fire right now.
Yeah, not even on the Sojourn either. I mean, he's been one of the top performing Sojourns that we've had so far this particular stage. I mean, even looking at stats, he's actually #1 for railgun accuracy at 61% average across all his games played. And if you're curious, Kai's at like 59 or something like that. So he's the only one above 60 even. Playing the Ashe first and foremost. Bob available now. Fitz trying to set up this EMP dive. We know that Prophet and Smurf can dive together. Now Smurf needs to arrive with Fitz.
Haven't been able to see them yet. Okay, there's going to be the hack into the back. Prophet is dead, though. He's not going to be a part of this dive. Maybe it's still going to work a treat, though, and it does. Fitz comes up with both kills with the help of Smurf. Went up into the air with the Meteor Strike. Dropped that back down. Now looks for Shy. Will find him. Bot, in the meantime, has more than doubled the distance gain. This Transcendence used by Vindheim. Not sure exactly what was threatening him there. Maybe Alfie got on top of him. Didn't quite notice. The Bob was also out, so that could have done it, I suppose. You see the minefield used by Bernard up into the high ground, so Smurf doesn't want to jump up into that nonsense. Instead, the bot will just get shifted back. Dynasty now looking to regain some distance.
It won't take them too long to get there. I mean, they have still a Nano coming online, and Prophet known to get a lot of sticks. His stick percentage yesterday was above 60%, 2 out of 3. Well, Alpha E will respond with his first pulse bomb. First and foremost, Sangjo Spark already putting Seoul Dynasty behind.
I think it's the second. He found Vindheim before, I believe. Prophet now going to be throwing one down, doesn't get a stick, and ends up dying. Shy finding that elimination once more. That's going to be Bot taken out of the hands of the Seoul Dynasty. At least it should be here in a moment. Nano Boost goes through. Fitz got slept. Irony finds the elimination. Vindheim answering back. Now looks for Alpha. He clips him in the leg, and it's enough to kill. Good pickoffs coming through, and the Dynasty can actually continue this push. It looked like it was slipping through their fingers, but they do manage to stabilize.
That's the thing about the Seoul Dynasty, right? They don't have the extra support plays. Jonak's already gone from the roster, so Vindheim has to set up and play one of these flex supports. Sangjo Spark to at least flex Architect into the lineup to try something out. Well done by Vindheim to collect those kills to allow the Seoul Dynasty now to get 40 meters, 6 away now from evening things up and overtaking. Still waiting for some ultimates from the Seoul Dynasty. Nano now burnt from the Sangjo Spark.
Yep, those get thrown out there on Alpha Yi. He has to recall out there the ante, forcing him back. Pulse Bomb nearly online once more for him. Now has it. See if he decides to use it here. We'll just go ahead, kill off Smurf, trade of the tanks. Pulse Bomb not going to be able to find a stick this time around. shifted back, but just 2 meters the difference right now is Bob will take down Vinheim. Big kill there from Shy. As the cleanup comes through, and the Spark can once more usher this back across and look to gain an even larger stretch lead.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Nano there to play through, and like you said, put onto Alpha Yi, who collected the kills required for the Hangzhou Spark. Once again, winning things out, preventing the Seoul Dynasty from getting that flip. Still 5 minutes remaining, so the 50% mark of the map has now been found. Next EMP online for Fitz as well. I need to be able to counter that one pretty soundly with that Transcendence when required.
Launcher shifted back across. Spark not really concerning themselves with trying to gain much more distance. They just want to keep it on Dynasty's side of the map. Nano goes out onto Smurf. He goes diving into the back line. Transcendence going to be popped there from Irony. Trying to keep everybody alive. Meteor Strike playing just a little bit of damage on the Architect. The punch is there, and the follow-up shot comes through. They find 2 eliminations. Smurf going to be taken down by Shy, who still has to be feared because of that. A headshot flies across, catches Prophet in the skull. Now he looks for a little bit more creative out in the open. The Dink is there. Nade comes down to try to keep himself alive. Another tap will do it. Just needs to line him up creative. Fancy footwork there. Buys a lot of time, but Shy gets him in the end. The trance is out from Vinheim once more. Shy, he won't find the kill, but he may as well have. Alpha E just scoops it for himself, and once more, the Spark are keeping the bot locked onto this half of the map.
Well, that's a huge turnaround as well, because for Shy, all he needs to do is get a couple of frags. Even if they lose that fight, it forces Seoul Dynasty to play defensively, wait for respawns. Great force by Fitz and Seoul Dynasty to get the initial Transcendence out of Irony, but the Vinheim ends up trancing as well, so it's traded, and Vinheim, you gotta say, ends up wasting because he just dies. Creative just dies as well. Seoul Dynasty still in the back for 3 minutes and a half now. 15 meters nearly found for the Hangzhou Spark, and so many ultimates coming online, still waiting for this EMP.
Waiting for the EMP, the pulse bomb from Prophet not finding anything. Hack goes out on a Shy. A little bit of damage out onto him, but nothing really worth writing home about. Smurf going to be taking low, pulse bomb lobbed in. Won't get the kill, but still, with the help of Irony, they do take down Smurf. Prophet dead to the minefield as well. They've only found Shy in all of this mix. Yeah, that's your primary target. That's the guy you want to be killing, but everybody else is falling to the wayside on the side of the Dynasty. The bot is being stolen away by Fitz. Keeps it on the Spark side of the map here, buys a little bit of extra time for the respawns to come through, and has the translocate out. So it's a cheeky play. It's much of what we were seeing you know, from just yesterday, but it's still them in a deficit.
I mean, it's a page out of Fusion's playbook, right? What we saw 2 days ago when Spark played Fusion. That actually kind of cost them at multiple points their win on New Queen Street and potentially Colosseo as well. So that definitely allows the Seoul Dynasty to come back in.
Okay, there's the EMP. They managed to isolate, eliminate Alpha Yi. Shy going to be nanoed here for the moment, but looks like everybody else just widely trying to avoid him. Coach Gun will blast Smurf away. Doesn't want that Doomfist getting in on top of him when he's low HP. Dynamite not going to be able to find anything either. The jump forward, the hack comes out. They're looking to try to get this kill. Everything basically being forced in onto Shy, but it's not going to be enough healing to keep him alive. Irony popping that trance, really just trying to save the Ash, and doesn't come to fruition. Comes up just shy of the mark. Pile driver interrupted, I do believe. Bernard now going to be finished off, and this is a big opening here for the Dynasty to finally gain a lead. Chasing coming through. They get the stagger kill onto Architect. So they can continue this push and maybe even make it to that checkpoint off this one.
Yeah, well, they should be able to overtake here, right? Because here we go, 52 meters gain. Seoul Dynasty don't lose anybody. A further stagger to Irony as well. I mean, that just, it goes from bad to worse for the Hangzhou Spark. They failed to cap on their own side of the map, or rather into the Seoul Dynasty territory. Fitz steals the payload backwards. Hangzhou Spark can't really do anything with it. Seoul Dynasty now, they had the payload control the entire time. The bot was in their hands, so as soon as they win the fight, they get the stagger, they get the cap, and they get the flip.
Yep, this has now become their game to lose. If they can just hold on to this lead, they should be sitting pretty. Clock gains just a little bit of extra distance there as Alpha Yi narrowly taken down. Would have been catastrophic so far. He's been pretty damn good with these pulse bombs. Let's see if he can find another high value one. Instead, actually, it's going to be Smurf, who's out in the middle of nowhere. Ends up going down. Prophet trying to get in on top of Shy. Once more to try to find that elimination. Instead, they'll turn the sights over to Arn to Irony. Now, Architect as the supports will fall. Drop back out. Now 45 seconds remaining. The bot continuing to advance forward. Creative going to be eliminated by Bernard, but he will go ahead and die as well. Vinheim, well, the Transcendences might not have been too great, has been kind of fragging, gets 3 in that fight, and now the Dynasty continue to stretch their lead.
Another EMP online as well. Spark have spent all their ultimates. Advanced scouting by Fitz now, since everybody on the back line. And for Seoul Dynasty, again, they don't even need to really push too much further. 77.99, let's make 78. It's fine, it'll do. We're about to head into overtime. Spark are the ones that have to push during the OT, so if Fitz or anybody can just get a couple of frags, it will be over.
There's the hack looking for Shy once more. It goes into the EMP. They get the amplified damage out. Shy absolutely vanishes. He's effectively been the win condition, and now everybody is just wiped off the face of the map. Alpha E pushed away. The final shot from Smurf will be the finisher, and Dynasty pull the rug out from beneath the Hangzhou Spark. While they might not have had that much of a lead as far as the meterage was concerned,
Yeah,
they were just winning out so many fights, but suddenly a switch got flipped in the Dynasty. They showed up to play.
it's about momentum as well, right? You have a situation where Hangzhou Spark win enough fights in Seoul territory. They're about to get that cap, and then Fitz sneaks the payload away. We saw exactly that happen to the Hangzhou Spark versus the Philly Fusion as well, and it ruined their ability to win either of the two push maps. So it's happened again, Achilles. This exact same issue where they can't keep control of the robot itself, and it goes too far back. And as cheesy as it looks, as cheesy as it ends up resoundingly changing the game, what ends up happening is Fitz can recover a lost team fight simply by moving the payload away. That's it. That's literally it. And then, well, you see what happens from the Seoul's Dynasty side of things. They keep on pushing. They robot control the entire time. They never lose it. They cap. They flip. They win. And Shy, try as he might, he was, I think, one final blow away from getting a deadlift there. That was how many kills he got on that Ash. Hangzhou Spark, it's about the objective. If there was a way to C9 the objective on push, and I'm not just talking like you don't touch in the overtime, I mean like you're supposed to push and win, but you lost control, that would be it that we just saw.
Well, unfortunate sort of events there for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but a significantly, I think, better looking start than what we saw from them when they played against the Fusion. They were very shaky on those first two maps. Definitely look a lot more awake right here. Watch Point Gibraltar is going to be coming up next, though. We'll see if the Spark can tie this up or if the Dynasty are going to be looking for yet another sweep. Don't go anywhere, guys. The action between these top two teams of the region continues in just a few. And we are back in just one map into this series, our first of the day and our last day of the week. Dynasty are able to draw first blood on New Queen Street, taking down the Hangzhou Spark, who looked like they were so far ahead for a good little while, but it slips between their fingers. Suddenly, Dynasty kind of remember how to play a little bit. They start focus firing onto Shy, they get the better of them, and they start things off with a win. Now we're getting ready to go into Gibraltar for our escort map.
And so much of it was because I think Fitz is Sombra again. A lot of criticism towards Sombra as a hero in this meta, generally speaking. But you look at the tempo there, you look at them setting up for dives, they had the tempo ripped away from them at multiple points. It was the Hangzhou Spark that kind of set the pacing while they were pushing, and the Seoul Dynasty spending, I think, even 3 fights in a row, Kilios, trying to get this one EMP off. Eventually they did when they turned it around, but they just could never get a fight going their way while they're getting dived by the Hangzhou Spark first. Speaking of Fitz, I thought he would be in for the Gibraltar map as a sniper, but actually, it's going to be Stalker.
Yeah, some change-ups coming through here from the side of the Dynasty. Flipping the playbook. Maybe they forgot which player plays on map 1, which one comes in map 2, but maybe the Hangzhou Spark forgot who plays support because they're still seeing Architect as well. Not that he did poorly. He was keeping pace at least at the very beginning of New Queen Street, and actually I think was slightly ahead of Creative towards that Nano Boost charge. But we'll have to see what happens because both these teams are locked in for the mid-season madness. So, you know, they don't have to... I mean, obviously, I think you want to have the higher record. You want to be able to say, like, yeah, we took down Dynasty, they're defending champions and whatnot. So I don't think this is necessarily a let's hide strats and do silly things type stuff. They're definitely playing this out seriously. Clearly something happened behind the scenes where Architect was really good in scrims and they decided to run this.
Well, there's still 3 games left to play, including this one. Right, and by the way, Hangzhou and Seoul are tied in map types against each other, 21-21 all time. That's a humongous record.
Yeah.
As far as looking at these 2 teams, though, they're both 7-2. But the Seoul Dynasty are ahead by 2 points in the standings, 10 points versus 8 points here. If Seoul lose a couple games, including losing to Spark go up to 9. They maybe win another game, they're up to 10. Seoul, if they lose again, they'll stay at 10. So there's a world where Spark can actually overtake. Now, Seoul are playing well enough that it's probably unlikely to happen. Spark would definitely have to win here. We'll see if this new Architect strategy works for them because he came in to play the Ana. Now he'll be playing the Brigadier as well.
Smurf waiting to see if anybody peeks out on the walkway. They do not. Swap-up's coming through. He's going to be moving over to the Sigma. And yep, it's just going to be Stalker matching on the Sojourn. So no Widowmakers to be seen thus far in Gibraltar. Definitely feels a little bit odd, but I don't mind it at all. See how Stalker fails. Or fares, not fails. Sorry, Stalker. I believe in you.
Making some assumptions here.
You
know, we're just... Well, like, 30 seconds in, you'll see how he fails, you know what I'm saying? No, we do actually see Sojourns being played on A lot more. I think the meta is shifting towards favorability for the Sojourn.
Oh,
that
no.
would be why Shy just
What have I done?
Stalker straight out. First and foremost, I mean, yeah, you just...
The monkey's paw curls a finger. As Shy gonna get stunned here on the high ground. Bernard just shifting in front of him, body blocking. Might not have a shield, but does have an immense mass to just go ahead and keep Shy protected from going down. Definitely a high value save. This looks like Server Room gonna be the point of contention here, as it often is. Charging forward behind the projected barrier for some stuns. The roll comes through, knocks Stalker there into the corner. He's got his sights set here on the enemy DPS. Nade coming down. Couple members going to be split apart as the Immortality field gets cleaned up on the side of the Dynasty, and slowly the Vinheim falling, but they do manage to find Shy at the same time. Now they continue to trade up or trade equal. As, yeah, it's just going to be blow for blow. Alpha E finding Creative, finding Stalker, keeping things dead even here between the 2 squads. Prophet moving forward, trying to get rid of Bernard. They will shift him down into the underpass. In the meantime, this is going to be the cart nearly advancing into point A. Architect going to be taken down. Shy under fire, tucks away the health pack there, keeps him sustained for a little bit longer. Minefield going to be taking down Smurf now. Bernard finding that pickoff, Prophet falling lower and lower. Alpha E going to be recalling out. Rejoins in with the rest of the team. Prophet continuing to flank, continuing to put pressure in from the sides. Try to build up towards that pulse bomb, but still has 38% left to go. Seems like for now the action will subside. Dynasty going to be pulling back around the corner. Pile driver there on the high ground, trying to set up for the rails snapshot. Not going to be able to find the elimination initially. Window now coming through from Creative. That's going to force the position a little bit here of Shy. Does decide to shift back around, but he gets caught out. Vinheim finding the elimination with a whip shot, but then Creative eventually does fall. Bernard sticking to that target and eventually manages to ensnare him. Flux going to be used by Smurf. Doesn't look like he catches too much of anything, though, and the Transcendence is there from Irony, all the same to keep things alive. Now the rally rolling, but Irony is not receiving any of that green HP. The stick is there. Prophet finds Architect, but Architect finds Prophet all the same. Gives his life for the eliminations, and now with no supports in the fight, this should be the Dynasty getting over the finish line here on point A. Just have to clean up Bernard. He does manage to find a final kill there on the Smurf, but the point will be capped. It's 3.5 minutes in the time bank here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty as they open up the hangar doors. If you haven't noticed why I'm talking so very much, that's because Avril has to rejoin. So he'll be back in here in just a moment. But for now, he gets stuck with me with a little bit of a solo cast. It's quite all right. I'll keep you guys hopefully entertained, but otherwise up to date on what's going on in the match. Slow and steady movement. Cart just going to start advancing into the hangar for now. Bernard looking at the challenge on the high ground, takes a quick little peek, sees Stalker. He's seen enough, wants to go ahead and pull away. Discord Orb does go out the rail. Shot not going to connect. Alfie tries to get involved with the Pulse Bomb. It's right on the nose of the dropship. Doesn't find an elimination, doesn't find any damage either. Vinheim under a bit of fire, Discord Orb out onto the Brigida, and eventually Irony is able to find that kill. Good pick off here for them to establish some cart control, because so far it still has been moving steadily along for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Stalker and Smurf both going to be taking low. Shy finds the elimination onto one. Prophet will finally pick up a kill in the back line of Hangzhou Spark, but they have lost way too much of the front line. Now the supports are falling once more as well. So Dynasty going to have to go for a reset with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Cart will start bleeding back, but you can see a good amount of distance picked up there with not much opposition to have been found on the card itself. So Dynasty will at least be grateful for that. Ults were expended across either side, but as far as the economy is concerned, Dynasty looking a little bit healthier there, as they're about to have, nearly 4 ults online. Stalker going to be the furthest one away. In the meantime, the support's quite a distance to climb for the side of Hangzhou Spark. Be able to get things like that Transcendence up. The rally is nearly there, but Prophet with this next Pulse Bomb that he's about to have could certainly shut down a rally very quickly if he can nail the stick. Paul's now at the ready, starting to work his way through that stairwell, but Alfie challenges him. Prophet going for the recall, doesn't have full HP, so has to back away. Rejoins in with Vinheim. Just go ahead, get top back up, and slow going, the cart starting to inch forward once more. Shy ducking back out, wants to grab that health pack, make sure he stays alive. The Flux is there from Smurf in the meantime. Took the drop, not going to be able to find anything, but Stalker with a rail will take down Architect, and that's the rally that they were about to have now out of the fight. See if he can rejoin before this cart crashes across into B, but it looks like the answer is going to be no. The kills quickly spilled through for the side of the Dynasty. They'll get another minute and a half added to the time bank here. Vinheim rally just... The green HP will be there for a little bit longer as they look for these stagger kills. If there's any split spawns, they won't find too much of anything, though. They killed everybody rather quickly. You see Prophet just hugging these mines, taking some damage so that he can offer up a little bit of extra ult charge over to the supports here on the side of the Dynasty. Stalker, again, great opening kill, finds Shy. Selfie lurking above, he's looking for a target. Pulse Bomb goes out, greets the shield of Vinheim, but he'll just keep that raised. The explosion will find nothing at all. Dynasty now bringing the card around the final corner. Rally, rolling, Transcendence nearly there for Irony. Architect just trying to make sure that Irony is as beefy as he can possibly be as a Zenyatta. Shy with the overclock as well. Ready to pop it on a moment's notice should he feel the time is right.
What I miss?
Anyway, welcome back. Nothing too much. Dynasty just kind of having a little bit of a clutch push through the hangar. We're just under 2 minutes now in the final swing. They've got the cart moving around the last corner. That's about it.
Okay, about a minute 30 left to go through. Here comes Burnout with that dive. Ultimate's a play for the Hangzhou Spark. Slowing this one down as much as possible. Seoul Dynasty have a pretty decent push coming online. Just a few hot seconds. Every single thing that they need, just about there.
Okay, diving to the back. That's going to find Stalker. Vinheim Prophet does commit the Pulse Bomb to this fight. Kills Architect, but that's as good as it's going to get. Alpha, you will find Creative. And Prophet will be the last one to go down. An extended team kill there. As it's now going to be about a minute remaining, less so, once the respawns do fully come through and they get back over to the card to try to finish this map. And Hangzhou Spark is still holding on to 3 ults here.
Well, that's the thing, right? Hangzhou Spark didn't actually use that many ultimates in that previous fight, so they forced a window out from the Seoul Dynasty. Might have even been a Pulse Bomb as well. For Hangzhou Spark, a couple of defensive ultimates there. Still hold on to the double DPS plus the mines. Like a pretty decent attempt at a defense there. It will come down to both of our Sojin players. Overclock for overclock.
Ready, Alfie. Which target does he choose? And it's going to be Smurf, and it's good enough to get the kill. Mortality Field now going to be cleared up. Minefield taking care of that. The rest of the Dynasty now need to back off, wait for Smurf to rejoin. Prophet still duking it out a little bit, and Stalker will alleviate a bit of that pressure as they try to retreat back by headshotting Shy with that rail. Will obviously be able to rejoin the fight here alongside the rest of the Hangzhou Spark, though, as the final contest comes through on the card. Touches at the ready. Make sure that they force out the OT. They have the tag, and now it's going to be overclocked. First pop by Stalker, gets the chest shot into the accretion from Smurf. They set up for kill into Alpha E, but Prophet's going to be traded shortly thereafter. Both the Tracers now going to be out of the fight. Mortality Field thrown in from Creative, trying to keep everybody alive. Irony finally takes that one down. The rally going to be rolling. Now the Flux does come through from Smurf. Does he find anybody? Yes, it's going to be the Zenyatta. Drops Irony down to the floor, and the Spheres will be able to finish him off. That's going to be further delaying that Transcendence from coming through, but if the rest of the Spark can buy some time, he should be able to build that up and help them win out this fight. But now, Smurf finds Shy, gets an elimination. Prophet is right back into the mix, gets in behind Architect, gets the elimination. The Pulse Bomb still going to be held. The recall going to be used. Prophet goes for the kill. Look for Alpha Yi. The final melee hit will come through. Gets the elimination. Cleans up a couple of the mines, and Bernard now needs to contest. The Transcendence comes through. They will be able to keep this Wrecking Ball alive. They're buying time for the rest of the DPS to now rejoin. Architect is back into the fray. The rally going to be rolling from him. Immortality Field cleared out. Creative dead. Vinheim under fire, falling lower and lower than his corner, sitting on his head, but he's managing to sustain. And Stalker on the return with the Genji comes up with 2 clutch kills. Smurf gets Irony with the accretion. Vinheim will find Alpha Yi, and the Seoul Dynasty might just be able to make this happen. They just have to get through Bernard, and they finally have done it. And in overtime, where Spark looked like they were going to be able to be entrenched, stop this card from finishing, they cannot make it happen. Stalker comes back, the Genji's huge, they get the finish.
Even through the mines, even through the Transcendence and the rally from Irony and Architect as well, the Hangzhou Spark, despite the heroics of Alpha Yi, to get a number of frags, and then importantly, like you said, onto Stalker as well. Seoul Dynasty, Prophet holding on. We saw it from his POV as well. Got those kills, deleted a few mines, touched the payload, enabled Stalker to then return as well, getting his 2 kills. Also have to say that Creative on the high ground, that bridge with the solo, the window, the amplification matrix was doing a lot to keep the team alive, putting in the extra damage as well, being uncontested. It took a while for the Hangzhou Spark to deal with them, but while they're trying to get Creative down from the high ground, Seoul Dynasty managed to regroup. So, brilliant stuff to get the cap into OT, and it was looking pretty dire when you consider the start of the fight, before we even headed to the OT, was Smurf eating a Pulse Bomb from Alpha Yi. The Immortality Field from Creative came in far too slow, and it was a 5 versus 4 until Prophet turned it around and evened up the numbers for Seoul.
Incredible turnaround there. And Prophet, feeling inspired by Stalker's clutch, says, I'll just play the Genji from the get-go, I guess. I'll just open the gates with this one on the defense.
Honestly, I don't even mind it, because Prophet's main goal will be to contest the payload down below, and because he's on a Genji sort of a tracer, he'll be able to contest, then still go back up to the high ground, then play that sort of verticality for this opening A. Bit of a deflected disruptor shot there as well. As, well, it might not have been actually in either case. I saw the Genji coming through, but it's, what we're looking at here is the fact that I think Prophet's Genji, like you said, inspired by Stalker maybe, is going to have that extra flexibility on that defense.
And it's probably a circle, because Stalker, being a younger player, probably watched Prophet play Genji and was inspired by him, and now Prophet inspired by Stalker, and it's just a cycle that will continue for time immemorial. But we'll see what happens. High ground established. Shy taking advantage of it. Nice shot there on a Stalker, shuts him down.
Exact same kill that we saw the other side around as well when we had the opening of A. I was here for that. You know, you remember, I was here before I left during B. No idea what happened on B. Figure it out though. I'm here for this B defense and attack. No server room under pressure so far.
And Vinheim continuing to fall low. Will be a trade out there on the Brigidas, but Irony falling means that there is no supports available for either side, as Creative will also be taken down. And I'm just getting deja vu as it just continues to be 1-for-1, back and forth. Over and over again. Stalker trying to make himself a little bit less appetizing here for Bernard to pursue as the nade comes down, still at low HP. Waiting for the supports to rejoin. Finally, we'll be able to receive some healing. Smurf as well. Just getting tucked away behind the boxes. Big juicy target, trying to get that nano boost online.
The thing is, because there was only 2 members left for the Hangzhou Spark, and they were both hunting for kills, no one kept the payload going, slides back down slightly, ends up being a fairly neutral fight, but I'd have to say it goes the way of Seoul Dynasty, because they don't lose anything for that. In the follow-up fight, though, Prophet loses his life, so now Stalker has to step up here. The nano's nearly available.
I'm telling you, this game is some of the best ragdolls that are out there right there. Prophet just getting his corpse yeeted into the wall. Utterly impeccable timing there for Bernard. on that pile driver. Gets that kill. Stalker under fire. The minefield now coming down, zoning out the remaining members of the Seoul Dynasty. Vinheim in the corner, and yep, they call in reinforcements. Alpha E arrives. The melee kill going to be good enough. And Smurf once more starting to struggle a little.
We have a timing here with Irony. Doesn't quite have everything to use yet. Prophet's got it.
Great. Yep, great little shot there from Prophet. Getting shy. Blade, however, widely just going to be a bit of an air blade zone in the back, keeping them contained here in the stairwell where they're under so much pressure that Irony's like, yeah, I guess I just have to throw the ult now. Throws down the Transcendence. Vinheim pushing forward. Rally rolling as well. Prophet dashes through, finds Irony. The anti's out on the 2.
Cancelled.
Architect gets cleaned up, and yep, that is going to be a major shutdown on Architect's ult now. Just farming off of Bernard. Smurf will be able to go ahead and once again be a battery for Creative to try to get that next nano online.
That's a really poorly played situation for the 200 Spark supports there. Both kind of caught out by Seoul Dynasty, both entrances and exits in that sort of side area controlled. And the rest of 100 Spark still respawning. They pop double support ultimates, neither of it really getting any value, just staggering them out further. And 100 Spark, 2 ultimates poorer because of it. Seoul Dynasty now massively ahead as far as the economics go.
Skirmishing continues. Nano going to be invested. That goes out to the Smurf. He's dropping down. He's looking for Irony. Architect trying to keep him covered, but it's just not going to be enough. Prophet gets in there, gets that elimination. Smurf finding 1, but Shy does manage to come up with 2. Smurf will Goomba stop him there at the very end, however. The cart widely. Even though Hangzhou go even kills, the cart is not really going to be able to progress. Alfie does find Prophet, but Smurf is still alive. Just waiting to once more, just trying to just battery up, charge. And these ults rapidly for his supports.
Look at this though. Because the last kill is Prophet and he's the last one to respawn, Seoul Dynasty ended up conceding space. That is actually going to allow the 100 Spark to walk on floor. So they're starting to take the second floor now, going in towards the shuttle. I don't think Alpha even saw Smurf there, but realizing the position for a pulse bomb like the backline.
Tries to find it, but a little bit too itchy of a trigger finger. Throws that one out. Could have had a much bigger value had he held it for just a moment. Still will manage to find Stalker in the end, but Prophet slices and dices Irony there with the blade. The support's now out of the fight, and Alpha E finished off as well. Dynasty continuing to hold the cart in place, and this is going to be a little bit of a late stagger there on the Shy as well, just for a cherry on top.
You see the futile kicks coming through from Irony as well, not quite landing onto Prophet. Prophet understanding his spacing perfectly there, doesn't eat any of the knockback kicks, and the Seoul Dynasty off a blade is going to get another fight win. Really doing a great job of just controlling the supporting line of Hangzhou Spark. It's, you know, Irony and Architect constantly targeted, constantly taken down, struggling to get that second Transcendence up for Irony as well, specifically. Hangzhou Spark now no longer to control the payload as it slides back.
Pulse to the ready, Alfie, a big opener. Rally rolling from Vinheim. If he could find him right now, it would be massive. You can see the shield getting raised, and Vinheim dashes away, keeps himself safe and out of range now. Goes forward to the rest of the squad. Architect going to be taken down. The trance is still popped here from Irony with now 40 seconds remaining. And he's just going to be rotating out the opposite direction, just trying to stay alive and not give up another stagger. Cart continuing to roll back, 30 seconds remaining. The Spark, they need to dig deep and pull out a rabbit out of a hat if they want to get this push across.
It's going to be hard. I mean, it might not even happen here. You have Nano Clock available, Nano Blade available soon as well. Alpha Yi instantly down, and the Hangzhou Spark. The Transcendences are sad. This push is sad as well. They have to wait for 2 respawners, and it's about to be OT.
Got 2 massive kills there for Prophet. I mean, 3 ults already ready to go. He's so close to the blade, and it's slim to nothing here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. The rally and maybe a minefield if Bernard can survive and lay it down in a nice spot. Rally goes through, Alpha Yi gets the touch to force out the overtime. Prophet getting tagged up just a bit, dashes back up here to the dropship, joining in with the rest of the team, keeping himself safe. Blade nearly up. The overclock going to be popped first. Soccer looking for a kill. They're trying to force Shy out into the open. So far it has not worked, but look at this, the supports down to low ground, but Irony dopes Prophet as soon as that deflect is done. Bernard trying to challenge up onto the high ground, however, has fallen. Vinheim targeted by the Discord Orb, falls down a little bit low. Creative managing to keep him sustained. The pushback is there on the whip shot, sending Architect flying away from the dropship as Alfie just continues to try to usher this one forward. Shy, however, headshot. Stalker finding him once more. Now the dive comes through. They get into the back lines. Architect is falling. Irony in the low ground. He's going to be eliminated, and it's all on Alpha Yi. He throws the pulse bomb in desperation, but it will not find a target. It will not find the damage. Benar is now left to his own devices and dead. OT will bleed away. Dynasty will successfully defend here on point B, and that now moves them up 2-0 in this series.
And it was so close as well at one point when we talk about the back and forth trades going. At a certain point in the game, I believe it was 36 final blows from Hangzhou to the 40 of Seoul Dynasty, just to prove how much back and forth trading of those kills actually happened. But as we get deeper onto the attack towards B, especially Hangzhou Spark, the moment that the moment the game slipped through their fingers to me was when we had Irony and Architect caught in the stairway, double support ultimates used. They lost their entire momentum at that stage, and they were on the back foot for the rest of that attack. And then the Seoul Dynasty just go through the spin cycle for their different ultimates. They didn't even have to spend too much. We get to the final fight in OT, double kill both Shy and Alpha Yi, waiting him until the final second until they get those members back and can actually touch. And Seoul Dynasty play their ultimate advantage with 4 big ultimates to finish it. I mean, just completely cut and dry there for the Seoul Dynasty in terms of their win conditions, and not much more to say about it.
Yep, not much more to say. We'll just go ahead and continue to move forward. Hybrid is going to be coming up next. Midtown, the decider here. If the Hangzhou Spark can fight back and put a map win on the board, or if the Seoul Dynasty will be able to pull off yet another 3-0 sweep. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to separate themselves. We saw just how dead even that map type win record was between these two teams, but right now Seoul Dynasty are making a bit of a statement. They're looking absolutely incredible and absolutely clutch. We'll see what happens when we come back from the break. Back. 2-0 lead so far for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, looking for another sweep. Hangzhou Spark, can they start to engineer another reverse sweep? You know, can they get it to a map 5 once more, and then this time can they close it out? We'll have to just kind of wait and see. Midtown is standing in their way.
They nearly got it versus the Fusion right, but the final map kind of caught them out. It would have to start here. It was previously Eichenwalde versus Fusion where that comeback started, but Seoul Dynasty, I have to say, is a completely different beast as well. Fusion, they looked very good in that game, but we're in a situation where, you know, beyond Fusion, you're looking at the Seoul Dynasty. The Seoul Dynasty, the reigning champion so far from the kickoff clash. They are our best team in this particular region as well, so getting a reverse sweep versus them is gonna be tough. Overall record between these two teams stands at 8-6 in favor of Hangzhou Spark all time. So, you know, the Seoul Dynasty looking to do a little bit of catch-up here. And Fitz also back in the lineup as well.
That he is. Just been playing, you know, musical chairs here between these DPS, just slotting them around Profit. And honestly, again, it just kind of feels like from time to time you can just turn the nameplates off and I wouldn't really be able to guess who's who. They have both been operating at a fairly similar level. The one way you'd kind of be able to determine, I
one
guess,
tell,
is
though.
The Sombra?
And the Genji, because Sombra's more so Fitz's hero, the Genji not so much, and that's definitely going to be Stalker's hero, as somebody that crosses between both hero pools there. Another player I'd like to talk about briefly as well is the fact that, you know, it does look like we're going to get Architect all day, and I don't really mind this if he's going to be playing the Ana, but the entirety of the last map was Architect Brigida, and that's one of Super Rich's signature heroes, so I find it really interesting that for a team like the Hangzhou Spark, that if you are going to Gibraltar and you don't have plans to put Architect on the Ana, that would have been a good time to sub Super Rich back in, but they stuck with it. Noted there's some, you know, potential issues on that back line as well. Hangzhou Spark not managing that situation very well in their attack. Now that we look towards Midtown, okay, double flex support again. I rate it, put the Architect on something like a BAP. I think that's definitely going to be more comfortable. And this could be a better turnaround. You know, putting Architect onto a flex support instead of a main support will be an improvement.
Let's see how they fare now. First in the defense for the Hangzhou Spark, Alfie once more going to be taking to the skies. Shy back over onto the Ash that was very much carrying them to a near victory on our first map of New Queen Street. Fits out the gate, Sojourn once more. Drop down, rotate through the left side. Profit, taking damage from both sides here. Where but the flank is Shy once more.
Ends up changing into anything else, any other point, because, you know, otherwise just playing the Sojourn as well, it's pretty interchangeable with Stalker. See if he ends up having a better Sojourn than Stalker today. As did actually note that Shy got Sojourn, on the Sojourn rather. Number of kills up against Stalker in the previous map, and now he's starting things out on the Ash instead, so we will be missing that Shy Sojourn for the time being. Alpha Yi, Echo, very well-known factor, something that he's extremely good on, very comfortable on. Controlling the flanks here, no Tracer will be interesting. We'll see how Profit gets to play this one when he doesn't have a Tracer he has to go up against, and already Bernard getting the kill to Creative. Opening defense looks okay.
Yep, good pick off there. Just finding these individual kills as Shy almost ends up dying himself there, but good pickoffs coming through. Vinheim still low HP. Looks like the shields will finally respawn as he gets a little health pack off screen. This is just draining away the time bank. A minute and a half about to be taken away from the Dynasty on this attack thus far. Definitely not getting onto point A for free this time around.
We have a window coming on for Architect here as well now, so that should be the first ultimate of both teams. Smurf getting quite low here. If he dies, it'll be really rough.
And he does. Shy able to break through that barrier before he can round the corner and get into the welcoming arms of Creative. Would have been able to get a nano off of that in all likelihood, or at least up above 90%. Doesn't get the opportunity now. Bernard continuing to play forward. He's looking for Fitz. Takes him down to about a quarter HP. The stun not quite going to connect onto Vinheim, so doesn't remain safe for the time being. It's good forward pressure here being output from Bernard, who already has that flux ready to roll.
Right side, and Shy is just everywhere. I mean, he can see everywhere on the map, so he's always putting pressure damage-wise onto just about every single member. Bob's online now as well. Hangzhou Spark are winning these fights without even having to spend ultimate, so under 2 minutes now. Every time the Seoul Dynasty want to push, somebody on their team dies.
And what this means is we're getting closer and closer to having that 10 ult fight potential. As, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be the one-ult fight. As Alfie will finally go down. Prophet able to take him out of the skies, but now before Fitz did fall.
Okay.
That's now the DPS duo, however, eliminated. The grab goes through. They get the catch here on Bernard. The finish is there after Prophet cleans up the Immortality field. And Irony, quite far forward around the back, ends up getting caught. The same will happen to Architect. So finally breaking through off the back of Shy's Bob usage. And a grab and a nano. The Dynasty will be able to go ahead and take point A.
I mean, you say far up, I
Will
think
they?
Shy was maybe a little bit far up there as well. He just completely caught out by the Seoul Dynasty. Spins his bomb in a really strange way as well. That's something that you want to be spending to defend the point. Speaking of defending the point, duplicate popped.
Yep, they're looking for it, but the overclock comes through. They break Alpha out of the dupe, and Shy headshot there by Fitz. Finds Alpha taking him out of the sky as well. Does end up falling low. You can see Irony desperately trying to get that elimination through, but point cap has come in. The cleanup will be there for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, but the time bank not nearly as strong as they would have liked. 40 seconds or so remaining when they get that cap. So now just over 3 as the doors will open, the fire truck can start advancing forward.
You know what, for the Hangzhou Spark, really, when it rains applause, right, because they were handling that defense so well, they were just completely preventing the Seoul Dynasty from getting any sort of movements. Like I said, every time that Seoul wanted to push, somebody was going down. Hangzhou Spark had that pick pressure, but they were the ones that got picked. Bob, again, misplaced there from Shy. He's gone over towards the Sojin now, so definitely the better hero to use. I'm glad at least that Bob was used so he can move over towards this hero instead. Seoul Dynasty working through with some momentum. Like you mentioned, they are down on time, so this is where they got to catch up. Double support ultimates on
him. So very low there from that rail, but didn't get the headshot, so can't get the insta-kill. Venheim lives to fight another day. And until that happens, until Shy just kills him again with another body shot. Nano's still going to be invested, though. Smurf about to have that grab online. Bernard throws up the barrier. Smurf takes quite a bit of damage. Has to tuck the back into the corner. The grab comes through. They do manage to find Bernard. They catch him on the wall, but the Immortality field is there. Now Fitz is going to be taken down, so the damage, the DPS is not online for the Seoul Dynasty to be able to get an elimination there. The grab, otherwise, just going to be whiffed.
It's going to be a rail onto Vindame, then a rail onto Fitz as well. We also saw from Creative's POV, he tried to heal Vindame, but because Vindame kept on backing up, Creative never got the chance to enter the room and actually heal him, or maybe even nano him, something to keep him up. They nano Smurf instead. He tries to walk up, but Shy just keeps on frag, and they put a lot of damage to Smurf, by the way, as well. Shy currently just built different, and Hangzhou Spark as well. Oh, okay, I was going to say the defense was looking alright, but with Alpha E down, Vindame under pressure.
Look at this guy. He's running down Bernard. Vinheim just charges the Sigma. No one comes to his rescue. No one stops Vinheim. He just goes absolutely just God mode. He gets 3 kills in the fight. He solo zones the Sigma. What the hell did I just witness?
That's the Zenyatta patch coming on through for the Midseason Madness. 225 HP. Strongest kick you've ever seen. And the Seoul Dynasty just off the back of Fitz's initial rail, and then, like we saw there from Vindame's POV, rushing down Bernard. 2 more kills after that. One of them onto Architect as well. And the Hangzhou Spark left reeling. Interesting plays, but Seoul Dynasty, they get the cap. Brilliant.
Yeah, and now over 2 minutes remaining for them on the final stretch. Let's see if they can get the finish, or if Hangzhou will be able to come up the works enough to get the stop. But Fitz finds the opening kill. Onto Alfie, assisting off a bit of that pressure that was being applied by Smurf. Shy, however, shutting down Fitz before the overclock can come through. Flux is used. Bernard not going to be able to find an elimination, and Smurf, he picks up Shy, helps find a kill. Another one for Vinheim with Bernard falling. Now Irony going to be gone, and Alfie heading for the hills. No takes to the skies, and goes down to a sliver of HP, and he's not going to be able to survive this. They chase forward. They get the break on that dupe.
Still got to grab.
He's out of it. The grab is thrown in. They know that Shy is still prime real estate, and they get that elimination. Overclock down, pop for Fitz. They dive forward from Bernard. The pulse bomb instantly greets him. He tries to trade it back onto Prophet. Can't make it happen. Ends up dying, and now it's just one after the other. And Seoul Dynasty, after what was looking like a catastrophic attack on A, will be able to finish Midtown with 1.5 minutes.
I mean, Seoul Dynasty played their momentum so well. They snowballed from B to A. That 1 kill onto Shy, well, rather, that 1 kill from Fitz on the rail to get Seoul Dynasty in. Then Vindame a little bit later on. We go over towards C, and it just keeps on continuing. Fitz gets another frag. Hangzhou Spark just left reeling. Alpha Yi dies on that Echo, and they never get to truly recover. Shy tries to respond. His aim is good, but Seoul Dynasty continue pushing on through. The grab is eventually built for Smurf, and it's always a good time to solo grab Shy. If you can find him, solo grab, 100% worth. So Hangzhou Spark, nothing left to defend there with. The duplicate was the only thing that could save him, but Alpha Yi, I think multiple duplicate attempts now, can't get an ultimate on that duplicate form.
Yeah, I think that for that final stretch, I mean, Hangzhou Spark were just stumbling at every twist and turn. They couldn't find their footing. And I think a lot of it had to do with Vindheim just physically and mentally assaulting Bernard. Like, that play with him just running him down and mauling him was just utterly incredible. And I think that Bernard after that was just like, I can't, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't want to play this game.
I mean, we know Sigma is pretty prone to being rushed down, but you just didn't think it was going to come through from a Zenyatta of all players and all heroes. That's one way to get past the shield. Sigma likes to play behind a shield. Well, just kick him off. Just kick him away.
Bernard is going to, he's going to try to go to bed tonight. He's going to have to check his closet and look under his bed to make sure that Vindheim isn't there, ready to kick him in the teeth. Well, Alfie, opening shot, not going to find anything. Just sees a couple people scattering like cockroaches over by the point. Okay. Swap over to the Tracer, yep.
The other option would have been, actually they're not playing double flex support anymore, nor are they playing the Sigma, so no opportunity for the Hanzo to come on through. So for the Hangzhou Spark, their sort of pathway to breaking through this double flex support Sigma defense on the Seoul Dynasty side is to play a very heavy dive, whereas we saw from the Seoul side, only attack was via the Zarya, and they couldn't get it done until they caught Shy. So, can Hangzhou Spark find the same sort of opening picks of this dive composition instead to do the same thing? Architect on a Brig though, already commented about that on Gibraltar. See if it's improved now on Midtown.
It's a good amount of pressure, but no kills to be found quite just yet. Smurf, kinetic grasp gonna be burned. A little bit of that extra HP behind him is Prophet. We'll find Shy, great opening kill here for the side of the Dynasty. Once more, finding the highest value target that he possibly can get. Now he's into the back lines, and he's setting up off the play that Creative had established for him. Creative, you know, I feel like it's been a little while since we've seen the Zenyatta from him, but the first time that he brought it the season was absolutely popping. Vindheim was fragging on it in our first map, despite the fact that the ult usage was a little bit wobbly. But we know that Creative, when he does have this at his disposal, he can really find impact.
There was an extra kill into burn on it there towards the end as well, just for further staggers, right? Because Prophet will start things out into Shy, and 2 to 3 more kills that end up coming through from the Hangzhou Spark, or against the Hangzhou Spark to follow through with. Shy in the 100 energy here. So this is what we're talking about. He needs to find a headshot, find a frag some way. There it is.
Bernard going on the chase as well. Pressure them out. Great headshot, as you say, from Shy. Finding Vindheim, pulse bomb in. However, will find Architect. So 1-for-1 on the supports. Irony surviving for now. Has the Transcendence, and he doesn't want to have to use it here, but he's going to have to. Prophet forces it out of him. Now they'll turn the sights over to the point, but they actually can't because they don't have Architect, so they actually have to exit.
Yeah, and then maybe they should have helped with the Trans as well. Yeah, if you just die with the Transcendence, you get to fight back in again. Creative though force, so it's a 1-for-1 Transcendence force. The mine's also being used. Smurf is just sitting there, they're looking at stuff. Here comes that Flux, nothing to counter this.
Now, there's nothing at all to try to save him. Irony ends up going down once more. A little bit of a trade out on the Zenyatta's, not the ults, but their lives. Bernard will manage to pick up Creative. Vindheim narrowly surviving for a little bit longer, but no. As that Immortality field gets taken down, he does fall. Stick out from Alpha Yi will help finish off Smurf. Prophet only able to find Architect, but unless he can go absolute God mode, I don't think that they're going to be able to hold this point for much longer. A minute and 10 seconds remaining. The tick's starting to come through. Smurf is going to swap over onto the Doomfist, so they are still going to be looking for a contest here.
Prophet's still alive here, so there's a possibility because Prophet lives. If Smurf dives in, they can link up with Prophet and make the play happen. Fitz pop the overclock, they want to go for it.
Well, they're looking for him. Fitz taking a hell of a lot of damage, but they managed to keep him alive. The final shot, not quite going to connect there on a Shy. He knows he's around the corner. He knows that he's low HP, but he can't quite get that rail to hit. Prophet, however, gets the pulse across. That's going to be Irony, and now Architect out of the fight. Prophet finding both of the supports. 2 ticks, seemingly as good as it's going to get right here on this assault. The rest of the Spark need to reset. They need to escape. Shy going to be taken down, sent back into the spawn room. Alfie as well falling. Fitz will get that kill from beyond the grave. And yeah, the Dynasty, they do stabilize. They managed to hold it, and now it's 24 seconds left.
That's huge. I mean, this could be the full hold now. And again, I have to repeat myself, so pertinent that Prophet lives here. The re-entry, the retake works because Prophet can link up with Smurf. Fitz will pop the overclock, and they can get a real dive going. 2 DPS plus a tank there. So, big stuff from Seoul Dynasty. Can they finish things off? Early rally from Architect as they push in.
Okay, the touch is there. Alpha Yi giving them the overtime. Vindheim low on that flank, the rail. Ready. Shy narrowly surviving. Hasn't been able to fire it off yet. Alfie pulse bump now ready to go. Smurf dives into the back though, finds Shy, takes him down with a seismic slam, but Alfie manages to respond in kind, so now the front line gonna be broken down. Vinham eliminated, Creative snipes the Tracer, gets the kill, but Prophet, I think he recalls into the minefield, ends up falling. The Trance gonna be used, just keeping Fitz alive. The Trance gonna be matched by Irony, desperately hoping that somebody can come to his rescue. The nade forces it back out onto the point, and the minefield is actually covering him, but he steps off for just long enough.
They weren't going to win.
He can't continue to play it. And that is going to be
had he stayed on, Seoul Dynasty, they'll get that kill. Shy still respawning. Attempting to limp his way back into the fight, would have already burnt, trying to burn that slide to get in. But for the Seoul Dynasty, they got all the frags required. Only the sole survivor there. Pops Transcendence, tries to hide inside of mines. I'm going to say not a C9. From my perspective, not a C9 there. Seoul Dynasty had that one locked down. Spark would not have won in either case. So
I do agree, but it's still just, it's such a unfortunate way for Den, because I liked that strategy, hiding him behind the mines, just keeping yourself covered. I mean, Fitz is desperately trying to weave these shots through, but he can't get it.
It saves you from like melee players, but any range players, like, I'll just shoot you. It doesn't matter. The mines.
Fitz was trying, but he kept hitting mines instead. They were covering him. They were providing protection. They were playing as his barrier. But either way, though,
overall,
oh boy,
what a good defense! What a good defense. The retake, brilliant. Prophet surviving on minimal HP. Alfie couldn't find him. They tried to chase a little bit, but ultimately Prophet got away. And I think that again, that was a key moment for the Seoul Dynasty to get a re-entry. And another key moment is the fact that I think Hangzhou Spark also had the opportunity to, if not get a full hold on A, take it down into the OT at a minimum. But the Bob flying to the middle of nowhere, Shy very far forward. He was playing ahead of the fire truck by a reasonable margin as well. Well in front of Bernard, I gotta say. I think Bernard was even off to the side, so Shy just in no man's land getting caught, and that completely snowballs Seoul Dynasty's offense. So at that stage, both of the A offense and defenses, you really can go through a bit of our scalpel, and that ended up making the biggest differences for me at the end of the day. And another big difference maker across the entire match in this 3-0 is a bit of love to the support. It's going to be Vindame coming through on the Zenyatta. Not even one of his signature heroes, but might have to etch that one now in to his hero pool officially as somebody that is making the most of the new changes coming on in, filling in for the shoes of Jonak, who departed, but with him and Creative kind of doing that. And then a double flex support meta where there's no other support players on the team. Somebody's got to pick up that second flex support, and Vindame, he's done it.
Yeah, I mean, again, utterly incredible just fragging from him the whole way throughout. Started off a little bit wobbly, but, going back over to picks that we do see from him consistently, such as the Brigitte and whatnot, and then going over onto the Baptiste at the very end, giving Creative a little bit of a moment to pop off. I think that you could almost put a bit of a joint award between he and Creative for this map, for player of the match, but the Chad play, taking down Bernard, just charging him down, that takes the cake. That's enough to edge Vinham out there ahead of him. Utterly impeccable as it's on your screens right now. I've never seen this really happen before, except from, I'd say this is kind of reminded me of players such as Jonak and Alarm. Those two players who were so very well known for their Zenyatas. This was very much he was echoing them and channeling them in that moment.
Absolutely, and I think, showing it's great performances across both Brigitte and the Zenyatta tonight, and he already was super well known for the Brig. It basically made his name on that Brig on O2 Blaster and Contenders, right? Part of that O2 Blaster winning roster along with proper Kilo Finn and all the rest. Even that last that we saw there, moments away from being saved, Irony was trying to fly in with the Transcendence, but Vindame just managed to get the kill. So things like that, just being able to do enough damage, putting Bernard into such a weird place, allowing then the team to push over towards C, and then as a full unit, pushing through to get that entire snowball into a full cap. And that was an incredible cap going through from B to C. And Seoul Dynasty, yeah, they had a few struggles here. I think Hangzhou Spark are a good enough team to put them on the ropes, but at no point did the Seoul Dynasty, to me, ever kind of fall over. Had controlled the game under lock, in their iron-tight grip, and definitely by far, I think we favor them as a top team coming into this evening, and they remain as the #1 team so far in APAC.
Yeah, I mean, we had hoped that this was going to be closer, just given that it is the top two teams that... Sorry, let me use this hand. The top two teams that we have in the region. But no, I think this is very much just Dynasty showing and proving, we are a league above the rest of the teams out here right now. They are just operating on such a high level, and this is a squad that had a couple of doubts surrounding them after hearing that Jonek was not going to be playing on this squad. And it's wonderful to see how well meshed together this squad truly is. So a very nicely won series for them with the 3-0, but we're not quite done yet. Let's take a quick little break. Myself and Avril will come back. We'll chat about this first series a little bit more. What does it mean for Seoul Dynasty maybe when that international competition comes through for the, the mid-season madness, blah, 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 blah. We'll see what we chat about. It could just be nonsense. Maybe we'll just talk about it days. I don't really know. We just kind of, we play it by ear. That's all. Anyway, that's coming up in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
And we're back. It's time for our game break. We can chat about this first series that we just witnessed, a 3-0 for the Seoul Dynasty. And unfortunately, outside of, I guess the first half, realistically, of New Queen Street, not nearly as close between our top two teams in the region as we had anticipated.
I think I expected more, definitely. And it starts in a way that is very reminiscent of Hangzhou's last game, where the robot just gets away from them. This one I'm happy to call the C9. It's not. It depends because it's one of those very intellectual C9s. I feel like you have to really know your C9s to point this one out. So
you have to have 200 IQ to understand the C9.
Yeah, I enjoy these ones. What I'm talking about is when you win a fight and the robot's on the other side of the map because someone stole it. That's something that cannot happen continually for the Hangzhou Spike. I think that's like 3 maps now that they could have won had that not have happened to them. So really upsetting that Hangzhou Spike keep losing in that type of way on push maps.
Yeah.
But when we start moving through the rest of the series, right, I mean, okay, we can use that excuse one time, but really Gibraltar and then eventually Midtown, that was just all Seoul Dynasty, playing best of Seoul Dynasty. I'm still not entirely sure if I am jiving with the Hangzhou Spark Architect main support yet. I think he's got some good value on a flex support. Maybe he has been training the main support in the background there as well, but there's a couple of heroes in there that I think has definitely been the wheelhouse of Super Rich in terms of his specialty that I don't know if Architect is going to be able to play at the same level just yet. So Hangzhou Spark, I'm liking the experimentation, but I think that today ends up being a bit of a failed experiment.
Yeah, and again, they are a lock for the tournament, so it's difficult to say how much of this was them saying, like, okay, you know what, this was doing all right in scrims, let's see how it goes versus the Dynasty. They are the toughest opponent that we can play against. And, you know, them being like, no, this is the strategy, and then it just completely falling flat versus the Seoul Dynasty. It's difficult to say, you know, how much of it was just practice because we're locked and, you know, true, faithful believing in it. But I don't know. Either way, rough stuff.
Within the last 48 hours, because I would have looked at this and said, if this was a strategy they picked, they played during the week, they would have probably thought about bringing in Architect during the Philadelphia Fusion game as well, but that never really happened. So within the space of 2 days, something kind of changed in there, and now they've shifted slightly. Still though, you know, I think sometimes you gotta try the experiment, let it blow up in your face a little bit, so you can get the results and move forward. And now, speaking of moving forward, Seth, I mean, we still have Valiant versus Dragons coming online. We talked about Spark versus Seoul as maybe being our top 2 teams, but the way Dragons played yesterday, maybe that narrative changed. Maybe Dragons are one of our top 2 teams now once again. And I almost wish we get to see Dragons and Seoul again in Dragons' new form, but gonna have to wait till the Midseason Madness perhaps to get that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a little bit longer on that rematch to come back through for us in the schedule. But like you said, Lip in particular yesterday looking absolutely impeccable. Flutta as well. A bit of a return to form there for that DPS lineup. So some scary stuff to deal with for the side of the Valiant. But we'll see what happens as we get ready to go into that series. All I know, Avril, is that Tayzonde is somewhere in the chat saying that Valiant is going to get a 3-0. That I can be certain about. What's actually going to happen in the series? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. It's going to be starting off in just a couple minutes, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back. It's time for our last series of the night and week. And we are going to be closing things out with the Valiant going up against the Dragons. Dragons, like we said, looking pretty darn good yesterday. Valiant with a couple wins now under their belt. We will see if they can take down the former Titans of the APAC region. Like, like Titans as in like figurative, not like, you know what I'm saying.
Not the Vancouver Titans. They're a different team in a different region. No, look, the LA Valiant here, it's going to be a tough game because they are going up against Shanghai Dragons in a bit more of a reformed state. If this was Dragons of last week, I'd have said, maybe this could be a very competitive game, possibly even winnable for the Valiant. To sort of rehash Valiant's chances here to make it through to the mid-season madness, mathematically, they are actually still in. But I think the pathway for them is now so specific that obviously they would have to win this game and every other game that they play for the rest of the stage, but they would need a very specific number of games that other teams lose as well. It's almost entirely out of their hands, but what I can say for certain is if they do lose today, they're definitely out of running, mathematically so, and they'll be the second
Dragons
team
are in
to join the Guangzhou Charge, and the Shanghai Dragons will be on 8 points. I suppose, that would definitely make them in as well, so big opportunity now for the Dragons to complete their recovery from the previous week's performances. Yesterday they looked fantastic. Valiant, honestly, an okay start. Easy harm popped off on the Sojin, but eventually just got outclassed by the Chengdu Hunters. Leave coming alive. Jinmu still looking really good from his previous performances as well. Shanghai Dragons, Zoachilios, I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. We wanted to see a competitive Shanghai Dragons. Didn't get that on our first week, but now we have it.
That we do, and Fate going to be starting once more here for the squad, and I think this is widely going to be continuing given the Wrecking Ball is just so much in the meta right now, so we'll likely be seeing a lot more of this guy moving forward. But the big one to talk about after yesterday, of course, is Lip. The 8'3" gaming warlord has returned.
9.
He's got right back onto his throne.
9.
He's grown a little bit since
8'9",
last season.
8'9".
Oh, 8'9". I see what you're saying. I think 9 feet. I was like, oh, okay. He's gotten bigger.
People keep misquoting it, Just remember, the progenitor's still sitting here, guys. You haven't forgotten about me, have you? But yes, anyway. It's true.
He's back.
He dominated. He dominated. I think, I put the tweet out yesterday. Minus a swear word. Lip is back. He really is back. And that's what we were waiting for. He was even... there's a bit of a bromance brewing between him and Jinmu from the Chengdu Hunters as well. They've been queuing together. Okay. I think it really just comes down to the fact that now that the beta is back in the hands of Lip, he gets to kind of cue the game, play a lot of Sojin, practice Sojin. Things are different. He had a post-match interview on Bilibili that kind of confirmed a couple of those things. Thanks to Jinmu as well, after they've been sort of playing together a decent amount. And now the Shanghai Dragons in form after, again, what was looking pretty abysmal last week. Back-to-back 0-3s, 0-6 entire scoreline. Lee Jae gone back on the roster here as well, not just Fate. And even on a map like Colosseo, where, to be honest, we've seen more Sigma than Ball played here, but Fate played with Lee Jae yesterday in Colosseo. They dominated, so they'll make the ball work.
If anyone can, you would suspect that it's going to be Fate. Let's see what they have pieced together for us, though, as we do jump into Colosseo for our first map. You can see last time that these guys squared off week 4, and it was a close series. Shanghai Dragons were pushed to the limits. We're able to win it out in a map 5. Can Valiant do that once more? Or potentially get, a cleaner victory for themselves? I have to just wait and see, but it's a bit of a taller task for them this time around, given the form that we saw from Shanghai Dragons. That being said, we have seen teams who seemingly just flip a switch day over day and look like they have forgotten how to play together, so that absolutely can happen.
Saw, by the way, that Lip was hovering the Sombra. Not again, though. We're not going to get into that one more time. Didn't work out well for them in King's Row. He knows that Sojin is going to be exactly the tool. He needs to work his way through the entirety of the LA Valiant. A bit of a mega flank coming on through both Fate and Flair to start things out. They're not even really playing the neutral position just yet.
I believe Langsa would have seen Flutter there, as he did have that super jump up top, cresting the hill. Why they keep peeking back. They're wary about this. Expecting it to strike at any given moment. Flooding out, starting. Fate as well. Pulling around the backside, just drawing their attention. Leaving pressure from the front. And that allows for the rest of the Dragons to go ahead and advance forward and start moving the bot. Shoves them away into the fountain area. Now Molly gonna get jumped
Molly
on.
caught.
Lip's got a great headshot. Yep. There's that elimination. Immortality field going to expire, or Length kind of leaps out of it. Fate will be able to find that elimination in the end. And there's the cleanup coming through as the Dragons will probably get a good amount of distance off this initial push.
Yeah, they only lost Izayaki there as well, so everybody managed to get some kills in there. The entire Valiant was wiped. So now moving over towards the Brig, as they want some defense up against both the Bull and the Tracer, of course, so can't really afford to be playing double flex support when you have heavy dive pressure. Shanghai Dragons getting a decent amount of push here as well. So, LA Valiant, well, we're going to strike. They don't know their Bull's also hiding. They don't see Fate, now they do.
And jumps onto Molly. It's going to try to isolate him, maybe take him down, but can't knock him far enough away, so everybody else is there to cover for it. Bot now finally going to be snatched up, or at least stopped from the side of the Valiant, albeit likely to be temporarily. There's Marvel falling low, tucks back behind the truck.
Easy
a
run
bit
as
of
well.
healing. Flatout gets on top of Molly, finds an elimination, gets in on top of Dia. Picks up a second kill, now he's looking for a third, and he will find it. Fleta and Lip unleashed. Lee J. Gunn will get involved as well in the very end, taking down Marvel, but it's a team kill, and the bot has free range to push.
Annihilated. 5 kills, 0 deaths on the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Seems like Fleta is just everywhere at once. I mean, even Lee J. Gon's pushed up at this rate as well, doing some scouting with a right click. Finds a 1 versus 1. Dragons have so much map control, and the LA Valiant don't know where to look because Shanghai Dragons also, by the way, haven't even had to spend an ultimate, and they've got the cap now.
Have the checkpoint. Now we're continuing to move further up the ramp. Minefield's going to be dropped in by Fate. Jumping in on top of him. Flata gets a 2-for-1 with a pulse bomb. And now the supports are gone. It's just Easy Han left alive, and as I said, he dies. Izayaki getting that
That's
kill.
another 5 for 0.
Another team wipe. Yeah, another one. I mean, right now it feels like, how many kills does the Valiant have? I'll just ask you.
One. Just one on Izayaki. And the initial neutral, that's it. So, for the LA Valley, the biggest problem is because they're not trading. Even if they get entirely team-wiped, if they just trade one player, they come back, it's a 5v4, right? But the Shanghai Dragons have everybody to play with and still more ultimates to play through. It comes an overclock now.
Barrier will absorb a couple of those shots, charges up another one. Kinetic Grasp from Marvel will be able to intercept it, making sure that he doesn't get chunked out. Bomb now going to be unleashed. Dia sending that one forward. Will halt the bot in the meantime, and Lee Jae-gon will fall down, so that's going to be them doubling their kill count. But now Molly eliminated. Izayaki, Lip also going to be picked up, but it seems like finally the Valiant putting some wind under their wings. Chasing forward, they're trying to get this elimination onto Fate. He will be able to roll his way out to safety, but it's a hell of a lot of distance just to get the bot back into neutral position. 110 meters is absolutely massive here from the Dragons, but still 6 minutes remaining on the time bank.
Well, the thing that really happened, the game change that happened there is Fate's actually still just being annoying in the back lines. Lee Jae-gon being caught in the side room, right? Fate might actually die here. That gives a lot for the LA Valley in terms of winning 2 skirmishes. They haven't had to use any ultimates, which is great. Just the initial bob to get control early on. Izayaki chooses not to use Transcendence in the previous fight because they would rather save it for the defense. They don't need to go for this cap on the full completion Colosseo. They just have to play for the defense now for the 110 meters. Izayaki, though, dying again is a little bit odd.
And now Limp is going to be taken down as well. Transcendence still going to be used by Molly.
Good force.
I don't really think he was under that much pressure there, but decides to pop it, and they get Lee Jae-gon to the back end of it, so, you know, whatever. Couple
still
like do get expended.
Still like 3 to 4 fights ahead for the Valiant to actually catch up here. And I mean, credit to them, they've kind of, okay, the Transcendence was maybe an overspend there, but the rest of it, they hold in. You're working on the next bob as well. Fled on the back line. Shanghai Dragons. Mines have been expended.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have that trans to just go ahead and easy clear out the mines either.
Pulse from
Fleta once more finds 2. Gets Molly, gets Dia, finds Langs up for a 3rd elimination. Fleta is absolutely on fire.
You know that thing, what's that stat line again? The someone deadlift. I can't remember. You have to remind me whose name.
Yeah. There's also that saying that someone is the meta. How does that one go as well?
Yeah, some meta person. I don't know.
Yeah.
Flayed Eye Rates. Okay, I don't know.
That stupid company that owns Facebook. No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
Oculus? Is that? No, I'm joking. Here we go. Lip onto Dia. And already LA Valley, that's the bob out of the picture. It was nearly onto the bob, maybe Gotta be careful here, because the Shanghai Dragons win this fight with any sort of cleanliness. They might even force a cap. They probably won't be good to get the bot too much extra distance, considering it's being stalled up by Eichenwalde. That's really good by Eichenwalde, by the way, just to make sure that it's not actually currently camping, so only Valiant can respawn.
They can, but the checkpoint is going to be snatched up. And that forward spawn locked in for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who are now looking for a finish on Colosseo. Very rarely has happened. I think it's like we were talking about yesterday, maybe the second time, if ever, that we have seen it. Nade going out to try to zone the rest of the squad. Good rail there, forces the recall from Eichenwalde. Unable to find a follow-up headshot, though. There's the Bob, forcing back around the corner. Drop down's coming through. They're getting aggressive. Eichenwalde lobbing in that pulse bomb, not going to be able to find a damn thing. And Langs and Molly both end up getting eliminated. Huge kills coming through now. Marvel going to be unable to escape. Should be full wipe. Kill trade onto Izayaki either. It is the full wipe. Molly the only one left alive, and the bot just has a couple more meters left to go before this map is over.
We're going to get a cap.
It's certainly looking
like
that
it. Way.
But this time around, not going to be able to find to any eliminations. Not going to get a double with the pulse bomb. Still looking to just zone them back. Marvel trying to contest. Ends up getting dropped. Langs are the last one that can try to hold this, and he is eliminated. As the recall comes through, the bot will complete, and the Shanghai Dragons absolutely sweep across the Valiant.
The most difficult map in the entire map pool in Overwatch 2 to finish. Factually correct that I'm saying here. And it's been done, finally. I don't know if this has been done before. I probably should have checked yesterday, but I didn't think we were going to have a situation where Shanghai Dragons just come on in, get the full cap through. They lost like maybe 2 fights the entire way through, spent most of the game with only 1 death the entire way through onto Izayaki. It wasn't until we hit the initial 110 for the Shanghai Dragons that the Valiant started coming back, but it didn't take too long afterwards for the Shanghai Dragons to bide their time, you know, not spending ultimates. Izayaki died twice, I think, with Transcendence. Again, you just don't need to use it. You don't need to be forced to use these things when you can just play defensively, regroup, find the 5v5 you're looking for, force the Trans out of Molly first, and then start winning fights and eventually get a finish on Colosseo. I personally haven't seen it in any of the games we casted, so unless NA has had a Colosseo finish, this is the first.
Either way, utterly impeccable from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. I mean, from the outset, just really maneuvering around the Valiant and kind of just puppeteering their movements. That final pushback from Valiant, getting a bit of distance finally on the bot. The only time that we really saw any resistance from them. Otherwise, the Dragons completely running away with Colosseo and getting the very rare finish on that map. Dorado's going to be coming up next. We'll see what happens. Whether or not the Valiant are going to be able to get a map win on the board. The Shanghai Dragons will be looking for another 3-0 here this evening. Don't go anywhere. And we are back in, oh boy, what a fast Colosseo. Even though we've increased the timer on that map, Shanghai Dragons planned it out a little bit faster than usual. They managed to get a push all the way to completion. Valiant not really finding too many legs to stand on, but maybe their fortunes can turn around as we get ready to go into Dorado for Escort.
Yeah, what was it, like 6.5-ish minutes for the full completion there? Didn't even hit the 7-minute mark, so you know, we increased the time on the map to 10 minutes, but we finished that one well within 8. I mean, truly within 8 there. So Shanghai Dragons not messing around today as we head into, or about to head into map number 2 here, which is going to end up in Dorado. Innovation stepping in here as well. So if you're sort of aware of his hero pool, specifically 3 heroes here that he plays, either going to be the Sombra, the Tracer, or the Mei. I would suspect it's probably going to be the Tracer here currently, as Dia stays into play the classic hit scans. Widowmaker obviously very good here. Double hit scans actually not bad here either. But you'll need anything you can get. You need as much help as you can get versus the Shanghai Dragons, who, by the way, as we see on the Valiant side of things, Molly, an ex-member of the Shanghai Dragons playing against his old team.
There he is. So you can find some revenge here on Dorado. As the gates will get ready to open up. And battle will commence. We'll see what these comps are going to be looking like. Do we have some Widowmakers? Or are people going to be straying away from that? So a decent amount of it from Dynasty. Fitz having obviously a really nice point B defense.
Well, yeah, this is a really dive-heavy
it
map, right? So I think Fate being in here, he would have been the player in this particular map anyway. And talked a little bit about what we could have seen on Colosseo. Fate being in there, obviously getting the ball on that map, how good the ball is going to be. We've seen so much Sigma play on Colosseo that, to me, that started to be kind of the predominant meta. But now I've been turned around. You know, this massive turnaround from Shanghai Dragons is also changing my mind about how some of these heroes work. And the way we saw Fate maneuver himself on Colosseo, getting to the backlines consistently, being super annoying, coordinating dives to Fleta, just astounding stuff. And I wouldn't expect anything different now in Dorado as, you know, Fleta's still here. Fate deciding what he wants to play here. Looks to start out onto the Winston, but even then, if you want to play the ball again, that wouldn't be too bad.
No, it would not. Hugging low, creeping along the coastline. Waiting for his moment to find a target. Spots Marvel, sends a shot his way. Catch him in the head, looks for another one. Gets him in the head once more. Sleep now is out, but it's going to be Fate, actually. The one who ends up falling. Anti does connect onto Marvel, but there's not going to be enough follow-up damage to be able to find that elimination. Feels no coming out here onto Lip. As the support duo is going to be rotating around the back, it looks like.
We're also racing for nanos here, by the way, as well. So Molly with the extra kill on 40%. Would have liked to have seen Izayaki turn around to heal Lip instead of EJ gone. It's a very minor thing. I mean, we're talking about small percentage points of difference here, but sometimes that can make a difference, especially at the professional level when you are, again, racing for nanos. You are also looking for just general picks on your Widowmakers here as well. So Dia and Lip actually trading shots pretty evenly when we look at the ult charge.
They are. A little bit more percentage there for Lip, just about 9% though. No kills to be found for either of the Widows yet. Dive in from Marvel, looking to pressure him out. We'll move over. Innovation backing him up as well, but Innovation falls low, has to recall out. Try to stay safe. Lengza antied out there for just a moment. Fate manages to go with stomp in, gets that kill. Poison Trap coming down. Innovation ducking and diving around the back lines, trying to continue to apply some pressure here onto the Widowmaker of Lip. It seems like it's just going to be Fate and Fleta
should be the cap
getting things done all the way into the back lines of the Valiant. Like you said, this very well could just lead to the cap. The only person contesting for the moment is going to be Innovation. Pulse Bomb in hand. Got the kill onto Fate. Looks for a little bit more, but Izayaki will manage to tag him right before he can dash out. The cap will be there. 4 minutes and now 40 seconds remaining as the jump comes up, and he nearly misses the window of opportunity to take down Molly.
Yeah, just masterful stuff from the Shanghai Dragons, right? They get an initial kill onto Lengsa, spotted to be quite low. Fate actually goes in for the dive, like you mentioned. The Goomba Stomp as well. Marvel also super low, so couldn't go in for the counter dive, trading backlines or something, applying some sort of pressure. And the Shanghai Dragons are able to continue converting extra frags, and when you get late kills like that and the payload's already on towards getting the cap, just no way for the Valiant to actually delay long enough to go for a retake. Innovation would have to get like a 3k on the Pulse Bomb, just not really possible for him. The Shanghai Dragons with 4 minutes to go through, no ultimate spent. First Widowmaker that actually gets a kill is going to end up being Dia.
Oh, and Lip replies quickly thereafter, so Fleta going to be lost, but that's going to be Molly now taken down, so Nano Boost out of the fight for a little bit longer as they wait for him to run back. But for now, will be halted up. Stick goes in from Innovation. Looks like it got Fate, but obviously not going to be enough to take down the Winston. Just chunks him down to half HP, and Lee Jae-gon will say thank you very much. That gets me closer to a rally. Now 5 ults available for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Just 3 at the moment. Inference Sight going to be popped by both of the Widowmakers. Marvel retreats back up onto the high ground once more. I mean, Dia's like, come on, I dare you. Drop the shield, please. Do something.
Lee Jae-gon's just keeping him busy. He's like, yeah, I'm watching the Widowmaker. He's looking at me and which the big stalemate here. That was a brilliant shot. The Flitter thought it was cleared. I mean, maybe he thought the Dia went away, but nope, not going to be the case.
I mean, maybe not realizing how quickly he could have changed back into that position to be able to get line of sight onto him either way. A bit of a misplay from Fleta. Does pay the iron price. Getting taken down. Primal pop from Marvel. Comes back over towards the cart to continue to contest. Dia as well, once more trying to weave another shot through. Really wants to get rid of Lee Jae-gon, but hasn't quite been able to make it happen yet. Nano's going to go through from Izayaki. He also gets an elimination as Innovation will die. Gives his life forward as Dia does nail another headshot. Waiting for the follow-up here from Lip, but so far he is staying a little bit quiet. Jump goes through from Fate. Bubble down, looking to pressure them out, and Lip will finally find the shot. Lee Jae-gon, however, falls in the back line. Trade out on the Brigidas. Fate pops the Primal Rage, goes in, looking for Molly, knocks him down into the spawn room, however. Will not be able to find that elimination. Marvel, in the meantime, let's get the kill here on the Lip. Rejoin over. Marvel tries to escape, but Flutter will have the kill. Pulse bomb from Innovation finds the Winston, so it's just Tracer killing Winston's once more.
Should be stabilized.
Trading coming through.
Yeah, and it starts with the Dia kills, right? I mean, Dia's able to get Izayaki nice and early. Very slow, very long respawn for the Shanghai Dragons. They still get a lot of kills in response. They get Fate up in the face of the Valiant, pop the Primal there as well, and Innovation eventually finding the stick onto Fate will seal the deal for that Dragon's attack and allow the Shanghai Dragons to, or rather allow the LA Valiant to finally force a reset on the Dragons. Just a few very vital picks there coming through to make it happen. And, I mean, so far for me, Dia's been the entire defense with a bit of smattering of other players, but mainly we're talking about Dia.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you look at the time bank, so much of it has been drained away already. 3 minutes gone from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They'll only get another, minute and a half if they can get this completion on to B. So you're looking at maybe 2.5 minutes if they can get this done in the next 25 seconds. To slip away from them, see if they can find some stability or if Dia continues to click heads.
And the Nano online now, okay, has to be used. Molly's going to have to pop this one to Marvel pretty quickly. They've lost Dia.
Yep, that's the stability they're looking for, but the support's now back here in Bank. Pulse Bomb goes in, looks for the stick, looks for the kill. The Langton Nano is going to be used to go ahead and keep him topped up, but the health pack going a little bit late there to try to save Marvel's life, so they continue to bleed members out, and that should be the push through now. Just under a minute remaining for the Shanghai Dragons, move up to 223.
It's big mistakes on tempo there from the Valiant, right? Like I said, Nano needs to go into Marvel. He would have been able to farm the Primal of the Nano as well.
Staggers.
So if there's an opportunity for the Valiant to actually stabilize, you have the Primal from Marvel popped in, Dia then respawns, and suddenly you have numbers to play through. This is just a bit of a cleanup for the Shanghai Dragons as they're kind of punishing the bad spawns of the LA Valiant. But the fact that Valiant just back into the bank, play super passively, wait to get pulse bombed, Nano Linkster instead of Marvel, I guess, to keep Linkster alive. I mean, that's not really playing for a win condition, you're just playing not to lose, and they lost anyway.
Innovation diving in, Pulse Bomb nearly at the ready, but now he's going to be taken down. Leading on, pops the rally, finds the elimination with the whip shot. Fate seeing many a target up here on the high ground, that's exactly where he wants to go. Goes down, drops the bubble, trying to cut off any healing there from keeping Lingza in the fight. Cannot do so, but seemingly Izayaki left out on an island. Marvel, Primal, got that elimination. No one there to peel for him. Good pick off coming through, but Marvel does end up dying, and as you say, the card is continuing to advance. Now the jungle into the corner, breaking line of sight. Molly cannot receive healing, ends up going down, as does Innovation. And the rest of the squad going to be zoned back into the spawn room. The cart continuing to advance, getting ever closer to the finish line here on Dorado.
I mean, this is just a perfect example of how to snowball right, and finally Valiant actually have 5 members alive. The rally needs to carry them through, but with Lip getting Dia down, it's already a 5v4.
Yep, the ante now out onto Marvel. Leap comes up off cooldown, but Lip manages to snipe him as he tries to make his exit. Drops down off the high ground, just eluding Innovation, giving him a hard time. And that will be the finisher. 52 seconds remaining here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. A good hold on B from Valiant, but they cannot stop him from finishing the map.
And I cannot overstate as well how difficult something like that is to do on a game like Overwatch 2 when you've only got 5 people. In 6v6, it's very easy to leave somebody behind to continue pushing the payload. Here, a 4v5 difference is it's very difficult to play considering compared to what would have been a 5v6 kind of difference in Overwatch 1. I mean, you even saw a tweet recently from McGravy, assistant coach of the Florida Mayhem, saying one of the hardest things to do coaching-wise is try to figure out who is pushing payload, who's meant to be pushing payload in a 5v5 game. So take a look at the couple of lip kills towards the end here as well. Shanghai Dragons able to put the pressure on with only 4 members while having somebody pushing the entire time. And they never really dropped members here. I mean, this final fight was flawless as well. They didn't have anybody go down. Perfect snowballing from the Shanghai Dragons after capping B, which ended up being, I think, the only point of contention. A was a little bit of a slowdown. B got a bit more competitive because Valiant actually won a fight. But C was all Dragons. No breaks on that payload at all. Straight after capping B, it just went to C and finished.
Yep, that's it. All gas, no brakes, but they ruined that channel. Shout out to Channel 5 instead.
Hi there.
I don't know how many people are going to get that reference.
It's a very
Just
different
YouTube
childhood
stuff.
to mine.
Not a childhood thing whatsoever. Just some YouTubers drama that had occurred before. But here we go.
So it is childish then. That's, like I said, yeah.
Yeah. I guess you were correct in the end. But here we are on the attack now. Swap over Marvel, just going to be matching the Winston.
Okay, Dia is actually on a Hanzo here. Now, I don't think the Hanzo is great into the Widowmaker, but
Well,
as we are finding out that Lip will just have free range. But we did see Dia pull the Hanzo out versus Chengdu yesterday, and honestly, his Hanzo kind of carries, so maybe it's a comfort pick. Maybe he thinks he'll find some value here. Not working out on his first life. You're right, he did die.
Yeah, they had to sleep on the Fate. Thought maybe Valiant would be able to get the punish, but just with the DPS dead, couldn't quite make it happen. Dia now going to be swapping back over onto the Widowmaker.
It's like, you know, when you're losing, you're trying things out. You have to try and find options. And Dia's little excursion on the Hanzo ended very quickly. Straight back onto the Widowmaker. He is so far behind Lip, because Lip gets to shoot for free the entire time. Way quicker towards the infra side, obviously. And for the Valiant, got to be careful not to get full health here. What kind of win conditions can we play towards? Molly actually still ahead of Izuyaki, mostly because his team is taking more damage, but that's the sole silver lining for the Valiant.
Shanghai off to a fantastic start here so far. Nearly half the time bank drained away with not the best distance. As the cart continues to roll back, just put Orbound on the Marvel, wants to go on the aggressive, jumps forward, the bubble, drop down within the bubble. Venn diagram set up, and Flutter finds a kill.
That.
Pulse bomb stick out on the legs, now is looking for Molly, rotating around the backside. There's just not too much that Molly can do but die. Dia will find one little parting gift headshot as Flutter gets into position once more to strike.
I mean, I'll be honest, that one headshot again, it kind of worked for them on B. They got Izuyaki down, and once again, Izuyaki has a very long run-back distance that's actually fairly applicable for the LA Valiant. As soon as Molly has the Nano online, they can start applying this. The poor thing is, the payload distance is really poor because they aren't even in the archway yet. But the longer this takes, the sooner Izuyaki gets back. When he does, it'll be Nano traded for Nano, and Valiant will no longer have really an edge.
Time definitely a big worry for them. Lip nearly with that infra sight just so they can really keep tabs on Dia. Diving on the back, trying to utilize the Nano, but he jumps right into the sleep dart. The headshot line up. There it is. I mean, he didn't even get to wake up. Just killed in his sleep.
Fate woke up though. Yeah, see, Fate actually woke up, managed to get the Flammable off.
He's got the juggle here on Molly once more. They're trying desperately, just dumping heals into him, but now the anti-clips him. Dia,
wait a minute.
Huge pop from him, gets both the supports. Does end up going down to Fate, jumps over, retreating, grabs that Mega Pack just to try to stay alive, and suddenly a massive window of opportunity. Lip making his leave. Sliver of HP remaining. Marvel goes on the hunt.
That is a gigantic 2 kills. That is a ridiculously impactful 2 kills. It's both supports from the Dragons. They can't even escort each other back. There's no Lucio here, no Taxi. 2 very slow flick supports now coming back from spawn. And this should be the LA Valiant looking towards a cap.
And they will have it. The recontest cannot come through with Fate going down. Now the cleanup will be there. Valiant getting a second lease on life, have 3 minutes. And if they can kind of steam their way through this second phase of Dorado, they have a chance of matching. But it's got to be clean.
How many times is Dia just going to pull a white rabbit out of the hat there? That was a magician's trick if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Disgusting 2-piece. He's under pressure. Fate's in his face. Dia's under pressure and finds 2 flex supports. Excuse me. What on earth?
Hoping that we have a replay of it at some point. If not now, then at the end of the show, perhaps.
When I said this whole team is Dia, I'm like really not kidding, am I? It's just that really just gave them the cap. Otherwise, it could have been a full hold.
Utterly impeccable. Looks at the pop jump there on the Lee J Gun. Not going to be able to get the hit across. Fate. Nano taking a nap. Has the bubble down, though, so significantly safer than what we saw from Marvel before. Fleta opens things up to the side of the Dragons to retake cart control. As Molly does fall, and Fate says, ooh, a Widowmaker. Tries to go for the stomp, won't be able to find it. Some reinforcements coming in. He peels back around the corner, now can receive some healing. Gets his exit safely.
Level 1 as well. I mean, he'll be thanking his lucky stars not to die there. Pulse Bomb goes out from Innovation. Could have been a pick. Ends up not being so. Shanghai Dragons comfortable again. You know, they were under pressure. They started to get a little bit snowball. Lip on the flank. Brilliant pick up to Molly, and Valiant have to reset.
Rotates around, now gets himself situated back on high ground at main. A little bit of a smattering of zaps coming through from Marvel there, just peeking that high ground, but can't get too much done. Lip just consistently trying to change his position up so he can catch them completely off guard.
I mean, if Lip just puts a lid on top of Dia, that's the entire win conditions from Valiant done for. All they have right now is a Nano, which will go into Marvel. Can't imagine it will give them too much, because even if things go poorly, Lee Jikon can use the ultimate. The only real difference here is Marvel makes space for Dia, who then can actually get some shots in to find the frags that will matter. Above that as well, I think Innovation tying up Lip is also hugely important. So if Dia can use that time to fight without another Widowmaker contesting, that's huge. But, you know, look at that. Fate's in his face.
Yeah, Bionade has to be used just to try to keep him sustained. Another stomp coming through. Dia ends up falling. Shanghai Dragons identifying the kill target. Now the double stomp through onto the supports. Primal Rage at the ready there, and it contains space. Does he want to pop this? As you say, the trance was used there by Lee Jing-un, just escorting them forward. The pulse bomb is there from Fleta, and well, I thought maybe he would use the Primal to juggle them around the church. It's not needed. Fleta just goes in.
It's as dire as it looks, and it is very dire because we're down to 20 seconds here, it is 2 ultimates traded for nothing. So the LA Valiant got a trance out. They said that's actually acceptable. This is not so acceptable. Losing Dia here means Valiant are stuck in spawn.
Yeah, and I mean, Fate has nanoed up. He's got the Primal rolling. The rally is just not really finding anybody for this green HP. We'll finally get kind of knocked into 2 other members, so gives them just a little bit of something to work with, but no one touches the cart. They just get juggled around so much.
Marvel already used this shift right. Now he just has to try and run towards spawn, the rest of them being spawn camped. It's, again, perfect decision making by the Shanghai Dragons, forcing a fight just under the 1 minute mark. They'll throw in 2 ultimates. The trance was probably not needed. The pulse was good. But then they understand it's like, well, okay, we're down to ultimates. Valiant actually have a potential to play for a real fight with their ultimates. We're just not going to give them a good fight here. We're going to force them to play out a spawn. They're going to have to play spread. A player's going to have to go for the payload, so we get a 5v4 just by default. And even if somebody did touch, if you clean everyone up in spawn, you win anyway because you go back to the payload, you clean up whoever that guy is, and map's over. So Dragons, outside of Dia getting that amazing 2-piece on the double supports, nothing really to talk about on the attack.
Yep, just more business as usual, it would seem, here for the Shanghai Dragons, who, after yesterday, have seemingly returned to form. Valiant now, though, in a position where they need a reverse sweep if they want to be able to take them down. We've seen them take the Dragons to a Game 5 before, so it is definitely possible, but right now, they just haven't been able to hold a candle to our, reigning just league champions. We'll see what happens when we come back from the break. Eichenwalde going to be the decider to see if it's yet another 3-0 or if the series continues, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back. It's looking like maybe a very fast day of matches as we're going into what could be our last map of the week. Valiant down to 0-2. Now need to answer back on Eichenwalde. We'll see if they can do it. Need to pull it off. And then need to win 2 more in a row if they want to be able to take this series. Otherwise, it seems like the Shanghai Dragons, we may just be able to say that they're back.
I think they're back regardless, right? Right now, they look like they're back. There's something monstrous would have to happen for them to not be back for the rest of this series. Surely a 3-0 coming on board now. Utter domination for 2 maps in a row. Only held back by some heroics from key members from the Valiant. And, you know, those key members now being subbed out. Because he is gone. Eichenwalde comes in. Becky and Sashin as well. I'll be honest with you. Desperate times call for desperate measures. You're no-heal. You're thinking, well, might as well give other people some playtime too. I don't know. Something. We got to change something.
Sure.
I suppose part of the reason you might sub Dia out is this is not a Widowmaker map, this is a Sojin map, and your best Sojin player is Eichenwalde, so he's come back in. Becky will play a little bit of the either Genji or Echo, I assume it will be the Echo session, either Sigma or the Zarya, and just hope it works out. And I mentioned Molly gets to play against his ex-team here, but if you're already winding the clock far enough back, Dia also gets to play against his ex-team.
Well, we'll see how they look, and whether or not they can hold a candle to the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who've been very, very fired up. Maybe, I don't know. You know, maybe they can get it done. We'll have to see what they have prepared for us, what the comps are going to be looking like as we go into Eichenwalde, because we've seen a couple different iterations of you know, compositions, what people like to play. See a good amount of echo from certain players and whatnot on this map, but some teams just completely stray away from it. I'm excited at least to see what they do have prepped for us, but Valiant absolutely have their work cut out for them. If they could pull off the reverse sweep, it would be monstrous.
And it would be the only way they could stay into the tournament as well. What slim margin there is, which is dwindling to like below a single percentage point here. I mean, especially with them being this far behind. All but eliminated at this stage by the Shanghai Dragons, who themselves will be on 8 points after this, which would kind of guarantee them into the Midseason Madness tournament. And at some point, we were kind of concerned, right? We're looking at our teams and thinking, oh boy, if the Dragons don't step up, Seoul's going to be like our best team going in. And, you know, don't mind that, Seoul are going to be fantastic, but it's going to be 3 other teams that might not be able to compete well. I look at this Dragons now and I think Seoul will probably count their lucky stars that they got to face Dragons early while they were struggling, because if you replay that match now, Seoul versus Dragons, I don't know who wins. I don't know who wins.
I know who wins, actually. It's the viewers and us, because it would be an absolutely gigabanger of a series.
Everybody wins.
So
yeah,
everybody
we get the real Classico that we should have had, not the 3-0 stomping that actually happened on that day.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Man. The ones that I can cross, I'll keep them crossed for that series to come up in the future. Yeah. Gate's going to be opening, though, as once more the Shanghai Dragons going to be first on the attack. So we do have that Echo Sojourn with the Zarya, of course, with Sashin in for the side of the Valiant on the defense.
Yeah, I'm playing the Widowmaker here just for the opening shot, and then we'll go over towards the Sojourn afterwards. Won't really see anybody. Valiant's smart enough not to peek out. Fake Ball. Once again, no, he's just going to go towards the Winston. I think the Ball's okay here, but he'll opt for the Winston now. To be honest with you, there is no Zen on the other side, so no Zen kick or Discord to ruin him. Still has to be careful at Molly, but other than that, actually kind of okay and playable for Fate.
Yeah, just the sleeps in the antes going to be the biggest concern, but you also don't have that execute damage, you know, from the Widowmakers and already finding some decent value. Bit of a trade back, though, so it's a 2 for 2. Both supports, however, going to the side of the Valiant, so definitely a trade up, you would say, for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Sashin, recently energized. Bubble goes over to try to keep Eichenwalde alive. Quick little hop, but Eichenwalde able to hound him down. It's a 3rd kill now for the side of the Shanghai Dragons as they make their way over to the point. Sashin trying to occupy this space, but the focus fire looking rather good. He cannot back up fast enough. Fate will be slept, but they just don't have the damage now to try to eliminate him. Would have all come from Becky with the sticky bombs into a beam, and that's just going to be the point A cap coming through. Another massive time bank here for the Dragons.
Oh, and a late stagger onto Molly here as well, and a possible further late stagger onto, I was going to say Linksa, but it's actually going to be onto Eichenwalde. And mentioning Sashin a little bit earlier on as well, he needed to live because his supports were right behind him. So if Sashin stays alive a little bit longer, his supports arrive, there's an opportunity to fight. Becky's actually still in the fight in the periphery as well, but both him and Becky go down. Further 2 staggers, like I mentioned. The Shanghai Dragons start to get some decent mileage on this payload as it begins opening the gate.
I don't know how Lee Jae-gon does it, but he is keeping pace with Izayaki for his ult charge. Falling behind a little bit right now, but that one kill picked up on the Easy Han, I guess, does help. But the man is absolutely
He's
just
actually
unhinged as a Lucio player.
He's only about 100 healing, 200 healing behind Izayaki, but he's got about 500 more damage than Izayaki. That would be how.
Well, there you go. Man knows how to fire those projectiles off the left click. Izayaki now Nano will come up for their second ultimate rather than they're going to be seeing. Floodit quickly joins them as the Pulse is at the ready. Already first corner, Cart starting to advance forward. Trying to contest this position.
I mean, gotta go.
It'd be rather difficult without some kind of pick, but yeah, they are doing nothing. Becky falling low, will duplicate just to go ahead and save his life. Goes for the Winston. Try to get that primal up. But he's not finding much value. Everyone's playing back away from it. Now he's going to be slapped. And they're trying to break him out. Bubbles do come in, buys a little bit more time. Gets the elimination there onto Izayaki in the end. Jae-gon going to be trying to escape and keep himself healed up. Fate slept for just a brief moment as the 5-1 was brought, but yeah, they do manage waking him up. Lip in the meantime snipes Becky out of the sky, finds a kill here. Try to trade things back in favor of the Shanghai Dragons. Cart ulted and all the chaos, but now it's going to be the beat dropped here from Lee Jae-gon, escorting them forward. Fate once more going to be slept, once more going to be woken up quickly thereafter. I don't know who's doing it, but somebody's going to stop holding down their primary fire button. Lip with the overclock now, looking for a third target, can't quite get it. Floodit takes the kill away from him, but everything's opened up and they are just steamrolling through. Somebody's got to finish. Somebody's got to push. Okay, Floodit's going to do it. They will finally push the cart into point B.
The payload was pushing the entire time unimpeded, so while everyone was dying of the Valiant, the Nano going sideways again. How is Lynx getting 2 nanos here? Surely one of these has to go into Sashin. He's got the grab. He's got to have some energy to play through. He's also your tank, double his health pool. For Christ's sake, I mean Valiant.
I don't know. It's that or, you know, go for the nano clock play.
Yeah.
Easy Han sitting there, ult in hand, like, hey,
that too.
show me some love as well.
I'll take that. Give me a nano click. Give me something. Give me something else. Shanghai Dragons, otherwise, I mean, they actually, funny enough, they're not going to get a better time back than Seoul got earlier on versus, did they play Guangzhou? Well, this is still going to be an insanely good time back regardless.
Right, decent energy built up here from Sasha, but still hovering down below half HP. The Nate just whittling away at him around the corner. Now near full, grab going to be thrown in, does get the catch on Izayaki, sets up the quick snipe from Easy Han's overclock. So they couple those ultimates together, they find a kill. Pulse bomb stick, and there's Easy Han dead. Floodit says, yeah, you want to step to me? Absolutely annihilates him. Now the DPS are out of the picture. Sashin falling lower and lower. Nano's going to be used once more on the lane.
They love Lane. They love him.
His Lane is just diving in front of these. Is it in his contract that he has to receive every nano boost on Eichenwalde? I don't know what is happening. Molly is trying to escape. He can't. Everybody else dies.
Meanwhile, Sashin dies.
DPS respawn.
Sashin's like, can I get a bit of healing here, fellas? Y'all got any more of that healing out there? Because I need some of that right now. Just not getting the help he requires. This is going to be a cap, and it's
I'm in the upside down. I don't know what's going on. I'm stuck in the upside down. It's weird. There's weird things going on. I need to be rescued.
Seth, I figured out. I got it. Molly doesn't know he's not on the Shanghai Dragons anymore. He doesn't. He's not aware that he's no longer playing for the Shanghai Dragons. He thinks he's still on the team. That's what he's doing.
Okay. I see. So he's okay. So he's going through a bit of a time loop. He doesn't know what period he's in, and he's all scrambled around. It's like Lost. And Teizande is the constant for him. So you know, for the Valiant,
right?
They use him, and they just need to get in contact with Teizande, and then they can reestablish their time zone or whatever timeline.
But by the way,
I think we have to go to the realm of sci-fi to make excuses for what we just witnessed.
Flitter and Fate are currently deathless. Just want to point that one out. So that's a lot of fun for a main tank player on a Winston of all heroes. Very dangerous to play in this meta. Hasn't died yet. Honestly, I think that's impressive. It is.
It is impressive. So is the amount of nanos that one break can receive in a single map.
You want to? Here's a fun fact as well. Despite getting 3 nanos, Lanxess still has less damage done than Molly. Not that the primary goal of a nano break is to do damage. I think you're just there to exist as a secondary tank.
But you naturally deal it while you're healing.
But you're dealing something. Yeah, you're doing something there. I don't know. That aside, like I'm going to be real with it. Even if Molly nanos Sashin a little bit more, Sashin will maybe, hopefully he does something with that. The team in general, outside of, I was going to say, Easy Han Sojin looking pretty decent. Lip definitely should know better than that. The bigger question will be, can Valiant do something about this before Lip comes back? And Fleta slipped as well. This time you do actually want to get this kill. Can they do it?
No, not quite.
What was that? Why did Becky just do that? That's kind of crazy.
I don't know. Instead of sending the sticky bombs, which don't deal damage until they explode. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore, April. But I do know that Becky does manage to beam down Fate, so he at least makes up for it by finding that kill. Lip has rejoined. He's stuck in the inn, though, sliding away, and Valiant they just get the cap. They get the cap because Lip died.
Yeah, Fate gets beamed down as well. You better give it and take it away action happening here. Molly plays for Dragons, Lip plays for Valiant. It's just, we are in the upside down. I think that's what's happening.
Yep. All right, well, maybe the Stranger Things gang can save us.
I'm also in Australia,
Maybe.
so I'm literally upside down.
Ah, there you go. The classic meme.
So if I go into the upside down where I am, I'm actually the right way up.
You're just right side up. Let's see. Oh, Molly gonna get picked off. Lee J gone. Finding a kill here to try to establish some cart control, and seems like, yeah, it will just continue to spiral as Lip picks up 2. Dragons now holding forward just outside of the enemy spawn.
Nano's coming online now. It'll be Izayaki first. Probably Valiant looking for some ultimates. To be honest with you, I think one cool interaction that does exist for the Valiant, we saw it briefly. Becky copying Fate gives you that slight little bit of a tinge of 2021 double bubble, which I do enjoy.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
If there was a Zarya on the other team, they could have quadruple boys, though. Sasha and Becky just keeping everybody safe. But they don't. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we get a little echo back to Overwatch 1 days. Fate just rejoining here up on the high ground.
So Valiant are getting a
Rival
decent amount of push here. It's it's a nano being popped with Fate first and foremost, so Valiant have to respond immediately. Boom, here we go. Becky receives a nano, gets some damage.
He's up on the high ground.
He doesn't even ult. He doesn't even ult.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. I think he thought he was safe, but then, I mean, Fate coming in was just,
He got blown up.
enough.
He did get blown up.
Little extra damage to take him down. Lee J Gon now looking for Lengza. He will get him. Lee J Gon is just absolutely cracked right now. Multiple kills coming through for him. He's looking to force out Sashin. Takes him low. Cart does inch forward a little bit.
You'd expect a nano player to take less damage, but he got blown up.
Okay, well, Becky does get a little bit of revenge there. Finding the elimination on the Lee J Gon, but Lip is quickly trading it back. Narrowly manages to survive and now has the overclock ready to go.
We've actually fought through that entire fight, and I believe only the 2 nanos got expended. That entire 1 minute skirmish we just witnessed. So, ends up working in the favor of Dragons. Cheap defensive fight win, and Valiant failed to really commit too much more. This is going to be a sad grab. It's basically going to have to be a solo grab into Fate because there's just no one else. And he's got the final.
Pulse out. Fleta not going to find a pick off this time. Dashes back around the corner. Sasha trying to challenge. Down low. Pops the bubble. Still holds on to the grab. See if he can get a good catch. For now, the Discord orb is out into him. Fate now going to be popping that primal. Yeah, Transcendence as well going to be forced. Becky slept as soon as he goes for the dupe. Lip with the overclock pops him out of it instantly. Becky will be able to survive. That Zarya bubble comes in to try to keep him safe. Grab in. Fate alive for a little bit longer because he had his own shield down, but cannot survive the assault. Valiant in the end finding that elimination. Now they can start moving the cart forward, but as I say that, Molly Becky now going to go down. Easy Hunt, he pops the overclock, but it's just him and Lengza against the world. Sliding forward, Lip up to the challenge, looks for the kill, but cannot make it happen. Easy Hunt coming out on top. Trying to keep things moving forward here for them. Slides down into the low ground. The health pack not going to be taken by him. Lengza will die. Now he'll certainly grab it, but he's going to have to make his exit.
My goodness, Easy Hunt and Linkster against the world, and the world loses, kind of. Not really, they still do bring it back at the end of the day, but it was very exciting. Easy Hunt 3 frags, but only 1 support with them. Dragons actually copped a couple of deaths there, a lot of deaths, and forcing the reset onto them. They will be able to regroup on the high ground now. Payload distance is still very poor. Comes a secondary nano onto Fate again.
Yep, looking for the dive in. Nano helping to keep him alive. Pulse Bomb goes out from Flutter, but it's not going to find a kill. In fact, he will go down. Sashin getting the elimination. Easy Hunt picking up yet another one before Lip can cut him down to size, but it's a massive trade up here for the side of the Valiant. They lose 2. They manage to find 3. Cart still advancing forward across the bridge. Lip not really in a position to try to challenge this one. Fleta going to have to keep it contested and locked into place. Lee J Gon as well, hovering above. helping to keep this stationary. Molly and Izayaki both going to fall and trade out now on the Anas. The Bionade's going to be out of the pipe. The Nano was used here for the son of the Valiant. HP bars, however, are falling a little bit low. Sasha taking the lion's share of that damage. He retreats back down inside of the castle. I think he grabs the Mega Pack and now will look to make his way back through, but ends up breaking the action. The Shanghai Dragons now can stabilize. They can breathe easy and try to get this hold. Pulse Bomb goes in. Becky lobbing it on the corner. I think he was trying to get you lucky timing maybe on someone, hiding or making their way out, but either way, doesn't lead to anything, and immediately the pause is going to be called.
40 seconds left to play through here. Payload in a pretty good place, and it allows the LA Valiant to actually fight for this high ground control, which they do have. But as we get towards the end, unless they find some more opening frags somewhere, Eichenwalde have to get like a pretty decent rail right. Eichenwalde, with no surprises, is the current frag leader for the LA Valiant, and despite losing, he is trying his best. He's, technically speaking, is also deadlifting 10 out of 19 total kills for the LA Valiant. So like we saw from Dia on Dorado, the hit scan play here on Eichenwalde is kind of holding the Valiant in, allowing them to get something done here. He was also the one responsible for killing Lip straight out the gates on the attack that even got them the gay cap in the first place. So for the Shanghai Dragons, definitely a big opportunity to completely win the map here just by defending B, but for the LA Valiant, there's no ultimates on anybody's side, so we play a full neutral.
We're going back into it now, though. Fate and Lip going to be the closest ones for the moment. That Primal, just 13% away. Takes a beating, manages to survive. Let's see what the approach looks like here. Is Sasha in the extended fight absolutely can get another high-value grab, but Eichenwalde taken out. Lee Jae-gon gets on top of him, finishes him off with the boot. Now continues to rotate around the back. Molly completely encroached upon, and Lee Jae-gon will just continue to get these right-click finishers. Can he get Sashin as well? Time will tell. He cannot. Fate will just go ahead and cleave him down with the Primal, but now he and Lee Jae-gon are just going to keep everybody contained inside of the spawn room. Can anyone touch?
5 seconds or so remaining.
Okay.
Lucio? Nope, can't touch.
It's over. All right, GG. Well, after the pause, to add a little bit more tension into the series, what's going to happen? Can they get the defense? No. Fate and Lee Jae-gon just go on a little bit of a duo mission into the back lines. They completely split the team apart.
Great dive.
The rest of the team is able to just go ahead and pick off everybody one by one as they try to contest the card. So there you have it. Another 3-0 and a very rapid-fire, rapid-paced day for us here on the broadcast.
Same as what we got yesterday, a 9-0 day into a 6-0 day as well on our third day of the week here. I don't know what it is, Achilles, but all the best games happen on the Friday. They're always on that first day, right? We get all the bangers, and then the rest of it ends up being a lot of 3-0s. It's I didn't think it was going to be like this. Well, in some cases, I think you would expect. I really hoped that our first match was going to be a bit closer, but this one always felt like it was going to be heavily Dragons' favor, considering how well they played yesterday. They continue that today. Every play that popped off yesterday continues to pop off today, but the one in general, the one in particular that really impressed us, straight from map 1 Achilles, double pulse bombs galore. You know who he is. Fleta is the meta, and he is also going to be our player of the match.
Yeah, utterly incredible performance out the rip. Like you said, I mean, 2 occasions of getting double pulse bomb kills from him. There's the second one. Because, I mean, most of the time, we didn't get to see him on camera. It just kind of happened. We just had to exclaim in surprise that he was able to pull these off. Constantly just chaining that into, 3, 4Ks and whatnot. Just impeccable performance from Fleta, who has had a rough ride so far this season. During the kickoff clash, only got to see him come through on push maps, basically. Was just playing Reaper. And then when he did move off the Reaper, he didn't look like his normal self. Obviously, we know that Fleta is a player who can play Genji, and the few times that he did show it when Who Are You was not playing it, he did not look like himself. He did not look like the Fleta that sets the meta. Today, yesterday, very much a return to form for this guy. Absolutely indomitable performance.
And you can't even tell you can tell the difference, but you can't even really, you look at the old Shanghai Dragon, let's say old, I mean just a week ago now, so even less than a week to be honest with you. It's like a completely different team. You look at those two performances, you look at those two teams, you even look at Fleta twice. Fleta last week versus Fleta now. Fleta's Tracer last week was shaky, very shaky. This time around, he does things that remind you of not only his performance last year, but his 2020 MVP level performance as well. And I think one of the coolest plays that we saw, not just the double pulse bomb sticks, but we actually got that into the highlights, which was the kind of man up versus Eichenwalde who overclocks, and Flitter's just like, all right, here's a pulse bomb, stick it right on top of you, just denies the ultimate. Brilliant stuff. I mean, that was a crazy kill on top of everything else that happened. Amazing dives between him and Fate. The more I look at this team, the more I'm thinking, not only do we have a major challenger for Seoul now, finally, the Midseason Madness, but a team that could even be better than Seoul, as well as Seoul are playing. Shanghai look unbelievably good, so I really want to see that matchup again, and I really want to see these two teams now, with Shanghai claiming their spot in the Midseason Madness tournament, go up against those North American teams, and hopefully beat them too.
Yeah, and I think, you know, at times this isn't the most fair statement, and I'm not trying to be too mean, but I think that going back to, like, the time loop system that we're talking about, you could have told me that this was a match from last season, and I would have believed you, just given the form that was being shown there from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, being able to beat down upon the Valiant. It was just utterly impeccable from them, and one of the things that we kind of talked about when they were eliminated during the kickoff clash was the conditions that they were playing under. The conditions that, you know, we don't fully know what was going on, but they didn't have their player cams on. Their internet connection was not very strong. We don't know the things that they went through. They've gotten past that now. Things are starting to, you know, have opened back up there in the facility. We finally get to see their beautiful smiling faces, and it seems like nature is healing with the Dragons. They are getting back into that form. Just took a couple of games, and now they are a squad that everybody needs to fear. So, really great win from them. Well, hoping to continue to see this form carry on. As with that victory, I believe they are now clinched in for the Midseason Madness. So we'll get to see them in some international competition, see how they stack up. So it's going to be absolutely incredible between them. You know, we've got Spark, who can find their groove from time to time. We saw it at the very beginning. And then, of course, the Seoul Dynasty. So 3 of our teams being sent over. I'm really excited. Now it all comes down to that final spot.
Yeah, and honestly, whether it's Fusion or Chengdu, I think I'd be okay with either. Whoever's the better team out of that hopefully does manage to get on in. They're both trying to fight for one position now. Fusion, even with their struggles, I mean, we've seen them at their peak and they do look good. Chengdu having a great meta. Leave is looking like, you know, more and more like his 2021 self as well. So both Fleta and Leave, our 2 MVPs from the last 2 years, coming back into form for themselves after kind of disappointing performances. But, you know, I've said so many times the sort of narrative, the sort of analogy of the drag is the sleeping dragon, right? Where they just needed a bit of a wake-up, and we give them the benefit of the doubt because we always knew they were going to be good. We've seen how good they were before, and there's no reason to doubt that they could ever get back there.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to do it for myself and Avril. Thank you so much for tuning into APAC this week. We'll, of course, be back next week as well to bring you some more action. In the meantime, set some alarms and whatnot to get a little nap in or go exercise, go on a nice walk. I don't know, whatever you can do, whatever time it is. You know, play some Overwatch too if you're in the beta while you wait for NA to kick off in, well, I was going to say a few hours, but it's several hours now as this was a very fast day. So I think you've got about 7 hours to kill before that happens. So you can get a full night's rest in, actually. But make sure you tune into those matches. They're bound to be just as joyous as the ones that we had here today. We will see you guys next time.
League.